Live from Darlington Raceway in South Carolina, a Labor Day weekend tradition that began back in 1950 continues today with ESPN's live coverage of the Pepsi Southern 500. It's the 24th race of the year, and Jeff Gordon still has a slim points lead over Mark Martin and Dale Jarrett. 4 of the Noble 5 drivers are in the top 10 in points. Half of them have never won at this facility. 9 races remain after today. Jeff Gordon has the best starting spot among those eligible for the $1 million bonus, and Bobby Labonte has the worst, but all will have pits on the front stretch. And we'll have the rest of the starting lineup and the green flag when we return to Darlington, South Carolina. ESPN Speed World live coverage of the Pepsi Southern 500 from Darlington is being brought to you by Pepsi, by Texaco, a world of energy, by Daytona USA, the ultimate motorsports attraction, and by ESPN Video. Get your officially licensed NASCAR videos from ESPN Video. Well, in just a couple of laps, we'll get the green flag and get things underway here today. One factor we have not mentioned is the extreme heat and humidity here today, Benny.
Oh, it is so hot today. About 95 degrees. The humidity way up, as it always is. Southern 500, the drivers will be completely drained at the end of 500 miles today.
And heat will play a part in another way, too. Heating of the race cars. Always a tradition, it seems, here at Darlington that race cars overheat because the track is very abrasive, grinds the rubber off the tires, it gets up into the grills and the radiators of the cars, causes them to overheat. Just another challenge that you all have to face here today.
We will go 367 laps this afternoon. Dale Earnhardt set the track record back in 1993. Tires will be a necessity, maybe even before that, and the purse is $1.8 million. Today's field consists of 24 Fords, 12 Chevrolets, and 7 Pontiacs, and Chevrolet has the advantage in the Manufacturers' Championship. Let's take a look now at the Walmart EverStart grid. On the pole is Dale Jarrett with his 3rd pole here at Darlington, and Lord Burton, who holds the qualifying track record. In row number 2 will be Rusty Wallace, who was 3rd in the spring race here, and John Andretti in his 150th NASCAR Winston Cup event. Starting 5th, the first of the Noble 5 drivers, Jeff Gordon, going for his 4th straight win in this event, and Ken Schrader, whose best Darlington finish is 3rd. Bill Elliott was the last driver to win the Southern 500 other than Jeff Gordon, and Sterling Marlin, the 1995 Trans-South Financial 400 winner. Starting in the 9th row will be Jerry Nadeau, his best start on a Noble track, and another one of the Noble 5 drivers, Mark Martin. As you look at the rest of the starting lineup, I think one thing we have to talk about, gentlemen, is the fact that, boy, when you come here, you've got to be on your toes every inch of the distance. That one lapse could mean trouble for you.
And the racetrack is so narrow that trying to pass is so doggone difficult. And you're right, Bob. It really and truly have to, every moment, have to be on target.
One more lap around, and the grid will get the starting flag and will be ready to go here at Darlington. It's a big week in baseball with the home run chase going on. If you stay with us this afternoon, we'll make sure that you stay up to date on any home runs that are hit by Mark McGwire or Sammy Sosa.
And certainly whoever wins this race is going to hit a home run here today, regardless of whether he's one of those drivers that are in the Noble 5.
And you saw Jeremy Mayfield starting back in 27th position. Remember in the spring how well he ran, folks, and had to pit on the backstretch and might have cost him a chance at the victory. He will be pitted on the front stretch. 28 pits on the front, and 15 on the back of the guys at the big disadvantage. And Darrell Waltrip is one of those guys. Take a look at our onboard cameras. Wally Dallenbach will be carrying one. Rick Mast also will be carrying an onboard camera this afternoon. Michael Waltrip, the last time he'll run this car in the Pepsi Southern 500. Jeff Bodine. How about Jeff Burton in the Circuit City onboard camera. Mark Martin also, the Valvoline onboard camera. Bill Elliott, McDonald's onboard camera. And Rusty Wallace in 3rd spot, a car that's awfully strong here this weekend.
The pace car pulls off the track. Now the field is in the command of Dale Jarrett, who has the assignment to lead them down here as we get this Pepsi Southern 500 underway for 1998. The green flag is out. The race is on.
Oh, and Dale Jarrett high already down in 3 and 4.
But Dale Jarrett leads that first lap. It's the 6th straight Darlington race that he has led, and it's the 18th event of 1998 in which he has been out front.
Boy, Rusty wants that lead. Look at him come off of turn 2. He gets down on the inside. He might have him going into turn 3.
He moves to the inside and slides up the racetrack.
Oh, he got in the corner so hard he could not keep it on the bottom, and Jarrett goes back by.
Not only did he lose the lead he had temporarily, but the car almost got the Darlington stripe here in the second lap. Ward Burton runs third, and John Andretti is in fourth.
The Darlington stripe at this racetrack was when the race car goes up and slaps that concrete and puts the concrete mark on the side of it.
Now the first 4 run right together on the racetrack. A little bit of distance back to Jeff Gordon, who's in 5th spot. Again, Rusty Wallace looks inside of Dale Jarrett through corner number 4. Dale Earnhardt and Mike Skinner are running together on the racetrack. 2 more of the No Bull 5 drivers.
Now we see Jeff Bodine has been able to put himself between those 2 cars as Jeremy Mayfield tries his charge to the front. Here's Earnhardt looking on the inside of Kevin LePage.
You can recognize the No Bull 5 drivers because their rear spoilers are red, their air dams in front are red, and their numbers on top are red. Now, Dale Jarrett is not eligible for the $1 million. His number is red all the time.
As a matter of fact, the first 4 cars right now, neither of those cars eligible for the No Bull 5. Jeff Bodine watches Dale Earnhardt as he tries to get to the front. Once again, Earnhardt trying to take a look, trying to accelerate down the straightaway. Can't do it. We'll go inside the Tabasco hot zone, see what kind of RPM, what kind of mile per hour Jeff Bodine will be running. This is the front stretch. Up to about 167 miles per hour. Hard on the brakes.
Earnhardt is still unable to take the position away from Kevin LePage. Now he pulls alongside and takes the spot as they go into the backstretch.
And that should give Jeff Bodine a run on Kevin LePage because LePage had to check his speed. They're going in the corner side by side. Wisely, Jeff Bodine backed off and let LePage have the racetrack.
Dale Earnhardt has moved up to 14th position.
See those RPMs getting up to about 8,300. Of course, as the tires heat up, RPMs will reduce a little bit.
I see Mike Skinner losing the spot to Jeremy Mayfield. And Jeremy Mayfield has now moved up to 17th. And, sorry, Bob.
Rusty Wallace trying maybe to get the lead. Up. He just cannot do it. Jeff Gordon, meanwhile, closes in on John Andretti as Andretti falls back now into his clutches as the first 3 cars have pulled away. And the 99 car of Jeff Burton, one of the potential spoilers here this afternoon, is right behind his teammate. Mark is 6th, and Burton is running in 7th position. And last evening during happy hour, Mark Martin said Jeff Burton is the man to beat.
Well, he started 12th and he's already up to 7th. And I'm sure he's not pushing that thing now. He's being very careful not to over abuse those tires. Rusty now trying to make a move on Jarrett, and he gets by him up in front there.
So Jarrett does fall back into 2nd this time, and the pass stopped there in the 2nd corner. And Ward Burton now will try to take 2nd place away from Dale. We have our 2nd leader of the race, Rusty Wallace, leading lap number 9. Here's Martin and Burton both going around Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon's not able to make much headway on John Andretti. Looked like the STP Pontiac had fallen back just a little bit from the first three. Jeff Gordon couldn't make much headway, so he decided to let Mark Martin and the 99 car of Jeff Burton go try it.
But Rusty made the move on Dale Jarrett. This is how he became our second leader of the race.
Going into turn one, he gets a nose alongside as they head into turn two and just shoots on by.
So Jarrett led the first 8 circuits of this event, and now out front is Rusty Wallace with Ward Burton still running third, John Andretti fourth, Mark Martin moving up into the 5th position. 6th Burton, then Gordon, Schrader, Elliott, and Sterling Marlin. Back in just a moment. It's a Pepsi Southern 500 live here on ESPN Speed World from Darlington Raceway in South Carolina. There's the leader, Rusty Wallace, with Dale Jarrett right behind him, Ward Burton running third, and Jeff Burton has moved up into 4th spot.
Yeah, he's just picking them off one by one, Bob, coming up through there, very calculated. He does have a great race car, as Mark Martin has said all weekend. Said 99 of Jeff Burton was the man to beat, and there's Mark in 5th place.
We saw Mark Martin's car go by, and oh, here we go. The Burton brothers side by side for the 3rd spot off turn 4. Ward should be able to back off, let Jeff go, and he does.
More on the 99 and 6 cars from Dr. Punch.
It's exactly how teammates should work together. Earlier in the year when they went to Watkins Glen, Mark Martin and Jeff Burton went up there and worked together. Martin showed Burton the line, how to get around a road course. 2 weeks ago, Mark Martin and Jeff Burton came here, and it was Martin who was the pupil and Burton who was the teacher. A moment ago, Martin moved over to let Burton go by. He thinks his teammate in that 99 is the man to beat today.
Made some great moves already in the race. It's only 17 laps old. Our Pennzoil copter cam is hovering over Darlington Raceway right now, and there's a bit of a cloud cover. We mentioned how hot and humid it was here, but the cloud cover has moved over, so at least as far as the fans sitting on the grandstand are concerned, it's not quite as oppressive.
Yeah, cloud cover is not a bad thing at this racetrack on Sunday afternoon. And we see a battle for 2nd spot is Jeff Burton on the inside of DJ. He's got position. Now, if this was the last lap, Dale Jarrett would not have given that spot away so easily, but this is early on, just 18 laps into the event. Why race him so hard? Back off, let him go. Try to have something at the end of this race.
Jeff Burton has moved up from his 12th starting position to 2nd in 18 laps.
He's going to be the first in about 21 or 22 laps the way he's coming.
Rusty Wallace is leading his 8th Southern 500 in 15 events here. Now Mark Martin tries to get a position on Ward Burton. And look at Jeff Burton. He has closed right up on Rusty. And Rusty says, if you're so fast, you go right ahead.
They didn't even contest him. He saw him coming, and he knew that he was a good bit faster. He said, I don't want to take any chances going to this turn like I did a little bit earlier.
The fans like it.
And here comes Mark Martin. He's on the inside of Ward Burton. Takes a spot away, moves into 4th. Identify the guys that have a chance to win $1 million. You see the Dayglow orange rear spoiler that identifies that car as a car with a chance to pick up the $1 million bonus. Check out Mark Martin's Tabasco hot zone in the corner, hits the brake.
About 168 miles an hour down the straightaway.
He went over 8,500 RPMs, which was more than Jeff Bodine was turning.
He ought to turn more down this straightaway. About the same thing, as a matter of fact. This is a little shorter corner. This racetrack is egg-shaped, and this 3 and 4 is the small end of the egg. Here's Sterling Marlin trying to get by Bill Elliott. That's for position. That will pull him into Sterling into the 9th spot. Elliott back to 11th now. Earnhardt takes over 10th. And here comes Jeremy Mayfield.
Oh, there's something wrong with the 97 of Chad Little, Bill.
Bobby's been losing positions. Chad Little believes he has a tire going down. He's not sure which one. So this Jeff Hammond-led crew will change all 4 tires on the John Deere Taurus. The only possible positive out of this is that Chad will be much faster than the rest of the guys on the racetrack. But right now, off pit road's getting 4 tires.
And Rusty Wallace suddenly begins to slip back now. Jarrett is in second, Mark in third, and Rusty's back to fourth.
Boy, Rusty really ran hard there. Those first 10 or 15 laps. You know that he had to be abusing those tires. He wanted to get that Miller Ford up front, and he did. Led some laps, but he might have abused those tires just a little bit too much. Jerry Punch?
Ned, you are exactly right once again. It's exactly what Rusty said a moment ago. The car had gotten loose. He basically had used the tires up to get up there and lead and get his bonus points. Meanwhile, Dale Jarrett had actually backed off a little bit. There's DJ. You're looking at the front of Rusty's car. He had backed off because he said his car was too tight. The car would not turn in the corner. They were concerned about wearing out that right front and particularly here the left front tire.
Well, Jeff Burton is pulled away to almost a 1 3/4 second advantage on Dale Jarrett. But how about the No Bull 5 drivers? Where are they running? Well, Mark Martin is furthest up front, running in third position. 2 of them are in the top 10. All 5 drivers are in the top 20. It's the Pepsi Southern 500 live here on ESPN. The leader is Jeff Burton in car number 99. He's already lapped a few drivers. Coming up now on Jimmy Spencer and Darrell Waltrip.
Joe Nemechek has gone a lap down, so is Bradbury and Dick Trickle and Steve Park.
And now Jimmy Spencer's gone a lap down as this is really allowing the second and third place cars, Dale Jarrett, Mark Martin, to catch up with Jeff Burton as he has to work his way through the traffic. Now they've got to pass the same traffic, but it's going to be a lot easier for them than it is for the leader. Not a lot easier, some easier. Anytime you pass a car at this racetrack, it's very difficult.
Yeah, but the reason it would be easier for the leader, they try to stay in that lead lap as long as they can. Once that leader has passed them, well, then they won't fight the others as much because they've already gone the lap down.
Jarrett had a bit of a bobble there coming off the 4th corner in his effort to get around Jimmy Spencer. He successfully lapped him, though, and now Mark Martin does likewise. On board with Mark Martin as he looks ahead to Jarrett and Burton.
And we see Rick Mast about to go a lap down to the leader, Jeff Burton. And he does. Rick Mast is running in the 36th position. We're getting back off the throttle, coast to the corner, now back hard on the throttle. Looks back at Dale Jarrett.
Dale led the first 8 laps, then Rusty Wallace led 11, and Jeff Burton has been up front since then. It's about a 1 1/3 second interval between Jarrett and the leader Burton. There are the No Bull 5 drivers and where they are running at the moment, and there goes Dale Jarrett past Rick Mast.
We have completed 35 laps. And some of these cars now that are getting lapped are pretty soon going to be starting changing tires. There we see Rusty Wallace. He's our 4th place vehicle going by.
Ward Burton right behind him. He's in 5th place in the silver number 22.
And John, I start to say John Andretti, that's Jeff Gordon that has caught that group of cars. When Jeff Gordon got by John Andretti a few laps ago, I looked, he was 4.6 seconds behind the leader. Right now, Jeff Gordon is 4.1 seconds behind the leader. Although the leader has been passing some traffic. You can see Ward Burton drive on the inside of Rusty Wallace, trying to take that spot.
And Jeff Gordon is charging up toward the both of them. He's going to go to the inside of Wallace also. Gets the car down the left side tires, down on the apron a little bit, but made the pass. Well, Rusty is losing a few spots. Boy, Jeremy Mayfield has moved up nicely since the beginning of the race. He started in 27th position, and look at this. He is already up to 8th.
And the best part about it, he's not an 8th that's a half lap down or 3/4 of a lap down. He's only 7 seconds behind the leader in 8th place. Fighting his way from 27th. That is impressive.
We talked about Rusty Wallace a little bit ago. He's dropping back a little bit. He's in 6th place now. He's just sort of hanging on. His car has gotten loose, and he's just waiting for that first pit stop so they can make some adjustments.
Jeremy Mayfield led 42 laps here in the Pepsi Southern 500 back in 1995.
Bill Elliott going by in the gold McDonald's car. Said happy 50th anniversary to NASCAR. We'll see Kevin LePage go by Jerry Nadeau. That puts LePage in the 14th spot, and Nadeau back to 15th. Bill Weber.
Well, yesterday Dick Trickle won the Busch Series race here, but then in happy hour he wrecked his primary car. He's on pit road now, getting 4 tires. They have made a chassis adjustment, so Trickle pits after 38 laps around the board.
I would suspect that his car had gotten very, very loose, and he said, I need some help.
Big Mark hit the deck as he came around. At Indy, he tried to run me off the road. That's what you get, Mark.
Dick Trickle down 2 laps now as he re-enters the competition. Here comes Jeff Burton completing another lap. That's lap number 39. And so far, he has led the most laps. He's been out in front for 20 of the 39 circuits. Jarrett still running second, then Mark Martin and Ward Burton. Ray Evernham looks on. Look at the incredible amount of Goodyear tires that are ready to be put on these cars as they race here this afternoon for 367 laps, 500 miles in the Pepsi Southern 500. We'll be right back. Boy, the stands are filled here as this race is now 44 laps old. The Pennzoil Copter Cam with these overhead shots. Jeff Burton continues to hang on to about a little over a half-second lead. Dale Jarrett with Mark Martin running in 3rd position. Here you can get an idea of the egg-shaped oval here at Darlington.
Well, I mentioned just a moment ago, and you see we're looking at the big end, and away from you is the small end. And you see that pond back here. This pond, that's why the racetrack is egg-shaped, because they did not want to disturb that pond when they built the racetrack back in the late 40s.
Here comes Jeff Burton continuing to move through traffic. He's coming up on Steve Grissom, who's showing some different colors this week in the 41 car. He is running in 29th position. Rusty Wallace, John Andretti, and Jeremy Mayfield are battling for position 6th, 7th, and 8th.
And we see here comes Jeremy on the inside of John Andretti. Surely Rusty is going to fight him too hard, and he comes up behind him. Watch him run through the middle of that corner, right up against that wall, up to the high side, trying to make that green racetrack grip. And this is where he is really getting through the corner. He really gets through this corner here when Rusty goes up. Jeremy, watch as he comes off this corner. Let's not be a very good test here because Rusty will be in front of him, and he can't really let the car roll through there. But trust me when I tell you, he's really getting through that corner.
And he's really moving down the straightaway, too, and taking over the 6th position from teammate Rusty Wallace. And here comes John Andretti also to the inside of Rusty.
Yeah, Rusty's car is getting looser and looser as those tires get older and older. He'll welcome that first pit stop.
Well, we'll check his telemetry and see how the car is performing now compared to a few laps ago. Of course, as we continue here, the tires get worse and worse.
And we hear Rusty almost off the throttle almost all the way through the corner. Watch as he goes down the straightaway. He's only able to get up to 168 mile per hour top speed. Down to 122 miles per hour in the corner. You know Rusty's dying. Man, I want 4 tires so bad I can't stand it.
And Ricky Rudd is in to take on 4 tires. He's had enough.
49 laps he ran on that first set.
We see an adjustment made on the Panhard bar or rear sway bar.
And Ricky had just gone a lap down, so he decided, okay, it's time to come into the pits.
And in 17.7 seconds, the car is full of gas, 4 new tires, and Ricky Rudd is back in competition.
That's a great pit stop. See Ted Musgrave and Bobby Labonte.
There's Derek Cope in the car number 30.
That's a battle for 18th, 19th, and 20th. And Bobby Labonte looks like his $1 million is going out the window. He is struck. Well, I shouldn't say that because they haven't made a pit stop yet. They might be able to make some changes on that first pit stop. We'll get this Interstate Batteries Pontiac running, but right now he is struggling almost a lap behind the leader.
Here's a Napa Field summary for you, and Bill Weber has more.
You're not kidding, they're struggling. Bobby Labonte's car is extremely tight. He's not very pleased with it right now. They are going to try and obviously loosen that up. 4 tires and a chassis adjustment. When he comes in, they haven't decided exactly how to do it. But Labonte very tight right now.
And he's struggling to hold on to that position as Derek Cope is trying to get it away from him. The Joe Gibbs team announced this weekend that they will have Home Depot sponsorship on the NASCAR Winston Cup car that will be driven next year by Tony Stewart.
See Terry Labonte back there. He is in 22nd spot. But Terry started way back in 35th, so he has moved forward. Now we see Bobby losing a couple of spots, or at least one spot to Derek Cope.
There are 25 cars on the lead lap, and Jeff Burton coming up on 2 of them, Kenny Irwin and Johnny Benson, and about to put a lap on them, and they're not far in front of this group, or far behind this group right here.
Also, I'm sorry, Mike Skinner, also the 31 car is now a lap down, so looks like his million might be going out the window.
There's Burton on the right and Kenny Irwin on the left. Irwin crashed during his qualifying run and had to start back in the rear of the field. We've completed 53 of 367 laps at Darlington, South Carolina. As you rejoin us, the leader of the race, Jeff Burton, car number 99, is attempting to pass the 22nd place car of Brett Bodine. Well, we told you that Jeff Burton and Dale Jarrett were potential spoilers for the drivers that are eligible for $1 million bonus here this afternoon. At the end of 57 laps, they're first and second.
We saw Terry Labonte going into the pits. He was about to be lapped. He was in 21st position. A lot of cars making pit stops, and we said as soon as they go a lap down, they'll come into the pits, put on tires, and that way they can go out there and run a lot faster than the leaders. Then when the leaders have to come in, well, they'll gain a lot of that position back and then hope for a caution. So, you know, it can work. Here's Labonte in the pits, so he's on backstretch making a chassis adjustment on his Kellogg Chevrolet. Of course, they'll change all 4 tires. We'll see that on all of the pit stops here, at least in the first 3/4 of the race. Changing all 4 tires.
This really creates a pretty dangerous situation because when Terry Labonte gets back on the racetrack, he's going to be running with cars that are 2 seconds a lap slower than he is. And those cars may be the leaders of the race, but they're in fact slower than Terry Labonte. And when he tries to go by him, sometimes we can have a bad situation with the disparity in speed.
But that car feels so good to him for 10 or 15 laps. Here is Kenny Irwin in. He had gone a lap down. He's the leading rookie contender so far this year in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series.
Has only raced 1 time here at Darlington in NASCAR Winston Cup competition. He started 5th and finished 39th. John Kernan.
Kenny Irwin's car was extremely loose. He couldn't get on the gas, so they made a chassis adjustment. Also, there will be a chassis adjustment for Ted Musgrave, who has moved up to the 20th position after starting back in the 32nd spot with Bud Moore's team. Right side work is already done. Second can of fuel going in. He's full of fuel. Now the tires, left side's going on. The cleaning off the grill. Waiting. A little bit of a problem with the left rear tire getting it on. Let's go to the front bench with Bill Weber.
Mike Skinner's car has been very loose, so they'll try and tighten him up. He'll get 4 tires and fuel. Remember, at Darlington, you'll never, well, almost never see a 2-tire stop. Jerry McReynolds has been coaching Skinner from the very first lap. We're racing the track, he's been telling him, not the competition. Tires on, Skinner continues his pursuit of $1 million.
Kyle Petty is also stopped for 4 tires and gasoline. There comes Robert Presley down pit road. So here on the 61st lap, we're seeing a lot of pit stops. Robert Presley is in, and Kyle Petty now completes the work on the Hot Wheels Pontiac, and he goes back out onto the track. Dale Jarrett also comes in down to Jerry Punch.
Dale Jarrett making his first scheduled pit stop for the day down at 55 miles per hour. They initially were just going to make an air pressure adjustment in the right front tire because DJ said the car was tight. Now they are going to make an adjustment if they have time with the track bar. Here is the Ford Credit Quality Care machine. Dale Jarrett trying to steal the opportunity for $1 million from 5 drivers, thinking this racetrack owes him one, and indeed it does. Right side tires already on. They've got a great pit stop going. Brad Parrott and the crew now. Left side tires are on. It's full of fuel. They're pulling off the jack. He is down and away. Jeff Gordon also being worked on in the pits with the punt crew. Down and away. And here is our leader, Jeff Burton, the X-side Ford. Right side tires. They told me a moment ago they were not going to make any adjustments whatsoever on the 99 car. It was a little bit tight in turns 3 and 4. Otherwise, the car was perfect around the racetrack. Now left side tires. Frankie Tyler and the X-side crew on Jeff Burton's X-side Ford. Let's go to Bill in the Earnhardt pit.
Dale Earnhardt already has right side tires. They make a wedge adjustment on the left rear. Left side tires going on. They wanted to tighten him up just a little bit. Dale Earnhardt is back out. Jerry.
Left side tires on Rusty Wallace's Miller Ford. Rusty was very, very loose. They made a track bar adjustment, a wedge adjustment, and an air pressure adjustment. And he zooms back to turn 1.
Bill Elliott also comes in for a stop. Mark Martin is the leader of the race. He has not yet come in for a stop.
No, but I expect he'll be coming in pretty soon, Bob. In fact, he'll be coming in this lap. He stayed out there to lead 8 laps, so he'd get 5 bonus Winston Cup bonus points.
Watch Bill Elliott's crew go to work.
Chassis adjustment being made on the car. Left side's coming off. Drink cup gets thrown on the racetrack. And away goes Elliott.
Well, Mark Martin is coming down. Jerry's in front of you.
It's a brand new race car for Mark Martin here in the Southern 500. And they have a superb pit stop going. The 43 car of John Andretti, Mr. Consistency, the past month in NASCAR races with all those top 10 finishes. Martin is down and away. A great pit stop, 18.4 seconds for the 6 car. Andretti getting left side tires, and now the SCP Pontiac moves down pit road.
All of these pit stops are being made under green flag conditions. We have not yet been interrupted by a caution. The leader of the race, well, we cycle back to Jeff Burton. All pit stops have now been completed, and Jeff Burton is the leader of the race once again. Well, pit stops, of course, are fast and furious. Let's look at this one from the crew cam. Jeremy Mayfield's tire changer.
M4, fit with him, Jeff.
Saw a little bit of flame there on the right front brake. Gives you an indication of how hard they ride the brakes through the corners here at Darlington. But Mayfield is finished with his pit stop and comes out in the 5th position. But Burton is ahead of Jarrett by 2.5 seconds. Jeff Gordon now 3rd, Ward Burton 4th, and Mayfield 5th. We're at Darlington, South Carolina for the Pepsi Southern 500, where 5 drivers are going for $1 million, their idea of a home run.
But this leader of the race, Jeff Burton, is not one of them.
And he is pulling away.
Remember, he and Dale Jarrett, who are running 1-2 right now, neither of these cars have a chance to win the $1 million a day. And remember how well they ran at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and Jeff Burton made the pit stop, broke the pinion on pit road, and Dale Jarrett ran out of fuel. Had it not been for that, these guys, both of them, would have a chance today to pick up that $1 million bonus.
As it stands right now, the driver running best among those eligible for the Noble $5 million is Jeff Gordon, who is in third position, a little over 9 seconds behind Jeff Burton. Well, that's a pretty good record, isn't it, when the money's on the line?
I'll say. And right now, Bob, he is one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. After they made that pit stop, made some adjustments. His last lap was faster than either Burton or Jarrett, and he has closed down what was about a 10.5 second deficit to about 9.5.
He has won the last 3 straight Pepsi Southern 500s, going for 4 in a row here this afternoon. There's another Noble car, the Mark Martin, number 6, who's in 4th position at the moment. Right behind him, the silver and green Ward Burton car.
And Ward Burton had just lost that position to Mark Martin in the last lap. Mark Martin was, as Ned said, the leader of the race. He stayed out a couple extra laps to lead that race, and it really cost him in track position because those 2 laps that he ran, he lost 5 or 6 seconds to Jeff Burton. Jeremy Mayfield, a 12 car, he is currently in 6th place, started back in 27th. And he right now, as I said, in 6th place, but he's 16 seconds behind. So in the exchange of pit stops, he has lost about 7 or 8 seconds to the leader, Jeff Burton.
Ooh. 16 seconds is about a half a lap as we see these guys really mix it up. Heavy traffic.
Kenny Irwin, also the 81 of Kenny Wallace is in there. Now Mike Skinner there in the 31 car is also in the hunt for the $1 million bonus. He, however, is a lap down, back in 28th spot.
They were told in the drivers' meeting, guys, you got to give, you got to give. There's got to be a lot of give and take. Well, Rusty Wallace is taking right now, and the other guys gave.
And I'm glad they did. Another guy who's having a good run here this afternoon is Sterling Marlin in the number 40 car. He's currently in 8th position, and right behind him is Dale Earnhardt, or between Earnhardt and Marlin is Skinner. Now Skinner gives way and Earnhardt passes.
Earnhardt in 9th place. Sterling Marlin right in front of him there in the 40 car. He's in 8th.
Now Sterling's able to dispose of the car of Robert Presley. See, coming in the background there's John Andretti. He's back in 10th spot. Started so well, but evidently had a, I don't know if he's a bad pit stop or a slow pit stop or why, but now he's fallen back to 10th spot.
He's had 6 top 10 finishes in the last 8 races, and that has moved him to a tie with Ken Schrader for 10th in the point standings. Labonte has gone a lap down in 15th spot, so 14 cars are now on the lead lap, and Burton is moving through the field, isn't he?
And the next car right in front of him is Ernie Irvin. He is running in 14th position, and it won't be long until he's going to be a lap down.
No, it certainly isn't. Look at Jeff Burton just turn the car left, and the car turns.
Well, that's what you dream of on this racetrack. Whoops. Some trouble here on turn 4. Jimmy Spencer.
He loops it and continues on. However, the caution is out.
Now, Terry Labonte looks like he's going to, I don't know if the leaders got the, I don't think they got the yellow flag. Terry Labonte has passed the 99 car back. Ernie Irvin had not been passed, so they're going to stay in the lead lap, it looks like.
There is Labonte ahead of Burton as they come back to the stripe. Our first caution flag is waving on the 82nd lap, and indeed, Irvin and Terry Labonte were able to come to the line ahead of Burton.
I don't know if Chad Little is going to get his lap back or not. I know that Labonte and Ernie Irvin will get his lap back. I'm not sure that they'll allow Chad to have that lap back.
And Chad is several laps down. He has made 2 green flag pit stops, so he was a couple of laps down. He had just made a pit stop about 5 or 6 laps ago.
Okay, let's take a look at turn number 4 and see what happened to Jimmy Spencer to bring out our first caution.
There we see the leaders coming off the corner, and we see Spencer and Dale Jarrett. Around Spencer goes, and fortunately at this point, Bobby Labonte just misses Jimmy Spencer. All the other cars dive to the apron of the racetrack, and fortunately the cars are running slow enough that you can stop before you back in the fence.
Rick Mastro through the incident. Saw the opening at the bottom of the track on the apron and went for it.
I don't believe he hit anything.
I don't believe he did either. I see just a little bit of tire mark there where it says Zippo. That might have been some contact there. I don't know. And all the leaders come down pit road.
So for the second time now this afternoon, the first time under caution, those on the lead lap come down. Bill Weber.
Jeremy Mayfield 6th on the track, but first in the pits. Just a tick loose, no air pressure adjustment, no chassis adjustment. They want the tires to come in. They're hoping they'll do that in the caution laps. Then Jeremy will be as fast as he's been under green. So Mayfield gets his 4 tires and fuel, then he'll continue out. He's got one of the very first pit stalls here on pit road. We'll have to make the trip all the way down pit road where Jerry Punch is.
Right side tires have already gone on Jeff Burton's car. They are trying to clean the grill off, and running is down and away as he heads toward the end of pit road. The car number 88 of Jarrett is down. The 24 and 99 are running side by side down pit road.
16.5 second pit stop for Dale Jarrett. A great pit stop by those guys, and they have him out first. 94 car of Bill Elliott having a little bit of problems. Now he moves back out onto the racetrack. 83 laps into the Southern 500. Yeah, the Winston Million program is gone. It's been replaced by the No Bull 5. 5 drivers here today eligible for a $1 million bonus. Let's take a look at where they are running. Jeff Gordon is the best. He's running 3rd. Mark Martin 5th. Earnhardt 8th. Bobby Labonte 18th. And Mike Skinner 22nd.
And you know, there were 5 fans today had a chance to pick up $1 million. Jeff Gordon reached in the pot, picked out Jim Chorman of Staten Island, New York. He walked away from Darlington with $1 million.
Can you imagine that?
No.
Wow.
Okay, 1 lap to go, and we'll go back to racing.
Talked about King Richard Petty in that little piece that we just aired for you. He was inducted into the National Motorsports Press Association Hall of Fame last night, where Ned and Benny already are. And speaking of Ned, it was, what, 33 years ago on this very day, Ned, back in 1965, that you whooped them bad here at Darlington by 14 laps over Buck Baker.
I'd like to say that I outran them that badly, Bob, but that was not the case. You know, I talked about at the top of the show today about rubber coming off of tires and getting into the grills and the radiator and causing overheating problems. Everybody had problems that day, and overheating was just a major, major situation. My car overheated as well, but I was able to nurse it to the finish. But that's what allowed me to get that good.
Bill Weber has a report on Bobby Labonte.
It's been a difficult day as Bobby Labonte chases $1 million for the 4th time this season. First, his car was too tight, so on their first pit stop, they loosened it up. But it was too loose, and again, he was fighting the car, getting it around this track. So on that last pit stop, they made an air pressure adjustment. They also put a spring rubber in the right front tire. They'll see if that'll help Bobby Labonte. Let's check on his brother with John.
Terry Labonte told his crew after the caution came out, he says, hey, we owe Jeff Burton one because Jeff Burton let me go by. So they said, yeah, we'll remember that. On the pit stop, 4 tires, the car was been very, very loose. They tightened it up with air pressure, and also they pushed in the right front fender and added some wedge.
All right, here we go. The green flag is out. There was a battle off pit road between Jeff Burton and Jeff Gordon. As you can see, they gave it to Burton. He's 2nd. Gordon is 3rd as the green flag flies again.
Jeff Gordon's won by Kyle Petty. Kyle, Hot Wheels car, is currently running in 17th. He's a lap down. You see Jeff Burton trying to get by the 16 car of Kevin LePage. There we see Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace, and Mark Martin is now the 5th place car.
And they have an opportunity to make some more adjustments on those cars during this caution flag pit stop. So we'll see who it works for and who it works against.
There's Mark Martin running in 5th spot right now. Only 1 car is shown out of the race. 42 are still on the racetrack. The car shown out is the number 15 car of Ted Musgrave.
And
Musgrave had a pretty good running going. He was about in the top 20, I believe. Page moves over, lets the faster cars or the cars on the lead lap go by. Jeremy Mayfield was one of those cars.
And Bobby Labonte is not on the lead lap. Here comes Mark Martin to the inside, and there is the battle for the lead, and Jeff Burton has closed right in. Let's get a report on Ted Musgrave from John Kernan.
Well, as you mentioned, Bob, Ted is pulled behind the wall into the garage area here on the backstretch as Jeff Burton takes the lead out on the racetrack. Ted, looked like for a minute there you might have had the problem solved. What's wrong with the engine?
I'll tell you what, John, no luck here, you know. Rescue Ford Torres is running good. We came right from the back, and I think I passed more cars than anybody for a while there, but motor started missing. I'm not quite sure if it was a rock arm, broken valve spring, something in that order. So, you know, there's no sense keep going out there and blow the motor or whatever and cause a big disturbance, and you're only in the wave on 7 cylinders, but not my luck today. You know, I love Darlington, and I wish I could have done really good for Bud Moore. I'll drive my heart out, but not anymore.
What about next week? You got a ride yet for Richmond?
Yeah, I think I'm going to help out Bud McCall. He asked me if I could maybe do a little deal for him at Richmond. And like I said, just having fun for the rest of the season here, trying to help these guys out. I just wish they'd finish.
Ted Musgrave with a smile that he's done for the day.
He did have a second place finish here in March of 1997, and the last time he led a NASCAR Winston Cup race was here last year in this event.
And Dale Earnhardt goes by Ward Burton, takes over the 7th spot.
The car that Musgrave used to drive, the 16 Prime Star car, has just fallen off the pace with Kevin LePage.
Yeah, the entire field passed him in about a lap and a half, Bob, so I don't know if it's engine problems or what it is, but he is very slow.
Kevin has had good runs in this car. Bill Weber, what's the problem?
Bob, he's got a definite miss. They're not sure. They're hoping, of course, that a plug wire just came off, but right now they're not certain. But he definitely has a miss in the engine compartment.
And Mark Martin tried to take the 4th spot away from Rusty Wallace and couldn't get the job done. He closes in and tries it once again. There's an update on the manufacturer's battle in progress. There's the Ford leaderboard. Pretty good. 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. And put the 6 in front of the 2. And there's the Chevy leaderboard with Jeff Gordon the best.
As you saw, Rusty didn't fight Mark when he came up. Mark had gotten up beside of him once before, a lap ago, and he knew that Mark's car was a little bit faster now, so he said, okay, I'll just settle in here and try to stay in contention. And Ford has led all the laps here so far today.
That's right. We have had 4 different leaders. Jeff Burton has led 67 laps, Jarrett 15, Wallace 11, and Mark Martin has led 2 circuits. And LePage is in the pits, Bill.
And they're looking under the hood. As you can plainly see, they've got a second set of plug wires. They're going to try and attach if needed. Right now, they're checking to make sure all 8 are attached. Underneath the hood, still looking. So Kevin LePage sits here on pit road. They really weren't concerned about trying to win this race. They wanted to get him as many laps as possible. Now they're going to try and get him back up to speed so he can continue to learn here at Darlington.
Got a good battle going on here for 10th, 11th, and 12th. John Andretti. There's Ken Schrader running in the 11th position. And Jeff Bodine is in 12th.
And both those cars in front of Jeff Bodine are a lap down, Kyle Petty and Johnny Benson. But it looks like they're running fast enough to stay in that position. Once again, we're watching the Tabasco hot zone from Jeff Bodine's car.
I believe Jeff's running a good bit higher gear here than Mark Martin. Although he gets up to about 80, a little over 8,300 there, but we saw Mark getting up to 85. And of course, it could be a difference in speed on the racetrack.
All right, we'll leave Jeff Bodine and jump in with Mark Martin and compare the 2 telemetry.
Right on board, Mark Martin, a Valvoline onboard camera.
Getting into turn 3 here now.
Ever so 8,500 RPMs down in that corner. And Kevin LePage is back on the racetrack, and obviously his problem has not been solved as Mark Martin passed him like he was a tree.
So over 8,500 RPMs once again for Mark as he went into turn 1.
Right up against an outside retaining wall. And comes back across the racetrack.
Teammates Jeremy Mayfield and Rusty Wallace are running in the 5th and 6th position. And Jeremy, it seems, is running a higher line than, look at him get way up by the wall.
He's found a spot that his car will work up there, and it doesn't abuse the tires nearly as much when he runs that high, and he knows that. So you can see now Rusty, he's got up almost 8,700 RPMs.
But boy, there's a thin line there between running up where you want to and getting into the fence.
Exactly right. I mean, you know, the bigger you make this racetrack, really, the easier, as Ned said, you can be on the tires, and you get a better grip up there than you will on the bottom of the racetrack. But you have to be awfully careful not to go up and bounce the thing off the wall.
Jeremy 5th and Rusty in 6th position as Jeff Burton continues to lead here at Darlington with a little over a 1.5-second lead over Dale Jarrett. We'll be back with more live coverage from Darlington in just a moment. ESPN Speed World today at Darlington, South Carolina. There isn't a seat to be had anywhere as the fans have turned out once again for this Labor Day weekend tradition since 1950, the Pepsi Southern 500. Jeff Burton is the leader of the race right now with Dale Jarrett running in 2nd position. Here are where the No Bull 5 drivers are running. Those eligible for a $1 million bonus if they can win. Gordon and Martin 3rd and 4th. Earnhardt is 6th. Bobby Labonte is a lap down, and so is Mike Skinner.
And just as you said that, Dale Earnhardt moved into the 6th spot. Put Rusty Wallace back to 7th. And we see John Andretti. His struggles continue as Jeff Bodine goes by on the outside, takes over the 10th spot.
But up front, we have Jeff Burton, who finished 5th in the spring race here at Darlington. He's the only driver to have 3 top 5s in the last 3 Darlington races.
Ned was talking about, you know, the tire of the rubber getting in the grills of the car and making it overheat and what have you. This was turn 2 at lap 14. Or is this turn 5? I guess it's turn 4 at lap 14. Now check it out, turn 2. Check it out at lap 102. And you see the rubber there on the racetrack? That's what Ned was talking about. That's what gets in the grills of the cars and in the radiators and causes them to overheat, especially on a 95-degree day. Now this buildup will just continue to get worse as the day goes on.
Here's Rusty Wallace coming up to challenge Dale Earnhardt for 6th spot. Bill Weber has more on Dale Earnhardt.
Well, it has been vintage Earnhardt so far. Not a complaint at all about the race car. Just a little bit loose. They tightened up just a bit on that first pit stop, but really they haven't done anything else. Gordon going around Jarrett. But this is the same car that Earnhardt ran last week in the race at Loudon. He was forced to run this car because he crashed his primary car in practice. This is an in-house designed car. They tested it at Richmond. Earnhardt liked it so much, he said, let's bring it to Darlington. So far, so good.
Doing a good job running in 6th position at the moment at the end of 110 laps.
He is about 11.6 seconds behind the leader, Jeff Burton.
That buildup also is on our camera lens down there in turn number 4.
And Rusty Wallace decides, well, I don't think Earnhardt's going as fast as I want to go, so I think I'll try leading this train again.
Dale has $1 million waiting for him if he can win the race. He, of course, won this year at Daytona, the Daytona 500.
fact, those cars are awfully evenly matched. The 2 and the 3. Rusty Wallace in the 2 and Dale Earnhardt in the 3.
Earnhardt has won 9 times here at Darlington. Rusty has never won here.
Remember when the caution flag, the only caution flag we've had today came out, Ernie Irvin was just about a lap down. Well, check him out. He's still in the lead lap, and he's trying to battle for 12th spot right now with John Andretti. Better make that 11th spot he's trying to battle for.
He started back in 26th position and has made up half of those positions already. He's been as high as 11th. There's Bill Elliott in the 94 car. He's still on the lead lap also in 14th position.
Check it out. He was the last Southern 500 winner before Jeff Gordon started winning all the Southern 500s back in 1994. Gordon won in 95, 96, and 97.
Elliott has won a total of 5 times on this racetrack, 2 spring races, and he's won this race 3 times. And Mark Martin is now turning up the heat just a little bit as he closes in on Dale Jarrett. That would be for 3rd position. Jarrett in 3rd right now, and Mark wanting it. Lead continues to be held by Jeff Burton. Five drivers here chasing history also as $1 million is up for grabs. There is Jeff Burton, who is not among those eligible for the No Bull $5 million. However, Jeff Gordon, who is about 3 3/4 seconds behind Jeff, is one of those eligible.
And the guy 3 seconds behind Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, he also is eligible. There we see Jeff Gordon going by. There comes Mark Martin by. Dale Jarrett is back in the 4th spot. Jerry Bunch, what's going on with DJ?
Guys, 8 laps ago, Dale Jarrett radioed in and said, guys, I'm a little bit loose entering the corner. 6 laps ago, he came back on the radio and said, I'm a little bit looser. 2 laps ago, he came by and said, I'm real loose. Guys, I think he's loose.
Well, it certainly reflects that because he was running in 2nd position and now he's back to 4th.
One thing that has happened here, we've talked about there being somewhat of a cloud cover over when the race started, and now the sun is shining down on the racetrack, and cars that were a little tight in the beginning would just naturally loose up. But I'm sure that they made some adjustments on that car to loosen it up. Now that the sun has come out, it's probably working against them.
Watching Jeremy Mayfield here in 5th position as he puts another lap on Rick Mast in the 75. And here comes Dale Earnhardt, who is in 6th position.
Tell you what, Earnhardt is not too shabby today. Michael Waltrip looks back in that orange, that pink car right behind him. Yes, folks, that's Jeff Burton, the lead of the race, as he comes off turn 2. Michael Waltrip's back in 26th spot. But he's going another lap down.
He is now 2 laps down to the leader. Elliott Sadler, by the way, will be the driver of the Wood Brothers car in NASCAR Winston Cup competition next year. Here's a Hardee's field summary for you. Everybody staying the same in the points position right now. Ken Schrader moving up 1, breaking the tie with John Andretti and moving into sole possession of 10th position. And they really change as you get back here. Bobby Hamilton has been struggling all afternoon. He's back in 28th position and is 2 laps down. Boy, Trickle was outstanding in that Busch race here yesterday, wasn't he?
Here was, beating Dale Earnhardt Jr. by about 3 inches as they race back to the caution flag, but he's not doing too swift today.
4 laps down now. He's in the 40th position. Of course, Dick wrecked his primary car in happy hour here yesterday afternoon, had to go to a backup car. And here's Jeff Gordon. He is gaining. He has cut that lead down on Jeff Burton. Don't know if it's because of traffic or not, but look how he's been cutting that deficit down from 3.8 down to 2.1. in just 5 laps.
Well, we see they're about the same speed. Jeff Burton ran a 32.4 and Jeff Gordon ran a 32.3. But Burton's problem here is this 33.5. That's traffic. And here, when you pass a car, it's going to cost you a second about each time. Unless you're just lucky enough to catch him on the straightaway and go by. But it doesn't seem like that happens like this.
We'll check the speeds at the line here and see who's going quickest.
Well, now Jeff Gordon is caught up in that traffic, and so is Mark Martin. We get back to a car that is by itself, and he probably will run 152 miles an hour. But so far, we haven't found one that's run by himself, have we? I guess these cars are slowed down to this speed. That's really amazing.
As they grind that rubber off the tires, the track is getting slicker, and since the sun has come out, that makes it even slicker and scrubs the speed off too. To scrub that rubber off the tires.
Burton and Mayfield first and second in terms of speed that last lap. Now this lap so far it is Mark Martin. And again, that indicates that he's probably running in pretty clean traffic. Here he comes up on Rich Bickle.
See, now he can't go in that corner like he normally would, and that's going to really rob him of speed. Probably about 3/4 of a second this lap.
So he was fastest last lap. Let's see how he does this time. Yeah, see, isn't even going to make the top 3.
And bad news for the competitors is Jeff Burton is 2.5 miles an hour faster than the next car.
Boy, it's been a fine ride for this guy here so far this afternoon as he comes up to put a lap on Terry Labonte, who's in 15th position. We'll be back with more live coverage in just a moment of the Pepsi Southern 500. They're the top 10 after 128 laps. There is Jeff Burton still on that high line out there, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Lets that car drift up right against that outside retaining wall.
And when he's out in clear traffic, he consistently is the fastest car on the racetrack. We had mentioned that Jeff Gordon had closed that lead down to about 2 seconds. Well, how about now? It's up to 4.3 seconds now.
As soon as Burton was able to clear himself of that heavy traffic that allowed Jeff Gordon to catch up, he opened it back up again as Gordon fought his way through that traffic.
Never a win here at Darlington, but Jeff has finished in the top 5 the last 3 races here, 4th, 2nd, and 5th.
And we talk about the tires, the new tires, and the difference in the speed as we see Bill Elliott right in front of Jeff Burton. Bill Elliott is currently in 14th spot on the lead lap, so he hates to look up in the mirror and see Jeff Burton coming. We talk about speed, and Jeff Burton right now is running 152 mile per hour average around this racetrack. He qualified at around 167 miles per hour. That's 15 miles an hour slower, simply because he has run, almost in contact between Burton and Elliott. He has run 30-40 laps on these tires.
There are now 13 cars on the lead lap, and right ahead of the leader is Mike Skinner. Jerry, what's his problem?
Well, Bob, the car absolutely is just a huge handful for Mike Skinner right now. I talked to Larry McReynolds a moment ago. He said the car simply will not grip the racetrack. It's dancing all around the racetrack as Jeff Burton goes by in the X-side Ford to put Mike Skinner another lap behind. The car goes to the bottom of the racetrack and slides up across the car, loose going in, tight coming off, and then switches it ends and changes at the other end of the racetrack. In other words, the car is just very, very far off from what Mike Skinner would like to have today.
Skinner became eligible for the Noble 5 by finishing in the top 5 at Indianapolis. Here's Bill Weber.
And this could be the opening of routine pit stops. Kyle Petty is in first, getting 4 tires and fuel. They tore off the plastic cover on the windshield. They tightened the lug nuts, so Kyle Petty slides that car out of his stall and then returns to pit road.
And they've run about 55 laps, 56 laps now since they made their pit stop during that last caution. So we'll see a lot of pit stops coming up here from here on in.
Kevin LePage is also on pit road. He has been in and out several times. In fact, he is 23 laps down in 42nd position. work on that prime star car. Now have it ready to go again.
Still on, appears to be still on 6 or 7 cylinders. Never see Ernie Irvin. He saved being lapped the last time, just about the time that Jeff Burton passed him. The caution flag came out. He was able to get Burton back, but now he will go a lap down. A few moments ago, we see the Kenny Irwin car come up trying to pass Ernie Irvin as they come off turn 4. Come up, and some contact between the two. Irwin still has a position. When he go down the corner, he just squeezes up and says, Ernie, don't be doing that to me again. So obviously,
they've had a few little skirmishes this year, and here is John Andretti in the pit, Jerry.
And they'd already made one round of wedge adjustment in the right rear. Right side tires are all in left side tires are otherwise pretty routine pit stop. A lot of drivers complaining that their cars are loose coming off the corner. Here's the car number 22, Ward Burton, who's sit on the outside front row of the NBNA Pontiac. And now Ricky Byers and company, Chris Hussey at work on the right side of that car. A number of guys, once again, complaining that their cars are loose from the middle of the corner off. And as Ned said a little while ago, those are the same guys that were tight early in the race and made adjustments, but now the sun has come out. The cars starting to dance a little bit sideways coming off the corner. Ward Burton is down and away. Let's go to John Curtis.
On the back pits, Terry Labonte is in. Remember the last pit stop, they made air pressure and chassis adjustments to tighten the car because it's been very loose. Well, apparently they went too far because on this last run, the car's been just extremely tight. So they'll take a round out of the left rear, put on 4 tires, make air pressure adjustments, trying to loosen it up to Terry. And his brothers also struggle. Let's go to Bill Weber.
And Bobby Labonte returns after getting 4 tires and fuel. Remember, they added a spring rubber on the right front last time on his stop. They're trying to make that car better, but his chance at $1 million is pretty much out the window. Ken Schrader has also been on pit road. He's getting tires, right side tires going on first. So Schrader on pit road. Several other guys have stopped, waiting for some of the leaders to make their next stop.
Going over to the left side of the car now for Ken Schrader, as the car is full of fuel, and it's down and 17.7 seconds.
That's a good pit stop.
not a bad pit stop at all. We saw Jerry Nagu leave the pits, the Cartoon Network Ford.
Rick Mast is also in his pit up near pit entrance off of turn number 4. And here's Dale Jarrett slowing down, relinquishing the 4th position to make his pit stop. It's on lap 144, Jerry.
And remember, they're one of the guys that was tight early on, made an adjustment, and now the car had gotten very loose. They were talking about taking a rubber out of the right rear. Well, watch the crew now. Watch the right rear tire come off. See if they reach in and pull the rubber. Yeah, they're going to reach in and pull the rubber. The rubber comes out. Now they'll put the right rear tire back on. The car had been very loose in the pit. Now left side tire going in on the Quality Care Ford. Brad Parrott, Todd Parrott, and the rest of the 8th crew. Left front, left rear, and in front with the left rear at the moment. Now he is down and away.
Mike Skinner is also in. He overshot his pit. They had to push him back. That delayed the stop by 2-3 seconds.
Now, Jarrett's pit stop that time was over 23 seconds. On the caution flag, made a pit stop of 16 seconds. It took him about 4 or 5 seconds extra to take that rubber out of that spring. So he'll hope that he can make up a lot of that on the racetrack.
Skinner goes out. Sterling Marlin comes in as the crew goes to work on the right side of the 40 car.
Sterling Marlin, the car in the top 10. And gave up about the 8th or 9th position when he came in. NASCAR inspector goes around and makes sure all this is done right. All the lug nuts are tight. Now the leader and the 2nd place car coming down pit road. Here comes Jeff Burton and Jeff Gordon.
Would be surprised to see Mark Martin follow them in as well. He stayed out there the other time to lead, get 5 bonus points, but let's go to the pits and Jerry Punch.
Remember that last stop, they were identical. They raced side by side down pit road. First on Jeff Burton, they're going to make an air pressure adjustment because they'll need more forward bite. Let's check in with Bill.
Jeremy Mayfield will get 4 tires. They'll also put in 2 rounds of wedge to try and tighten up his car. Jerry?
Left side tires from 99. They made an air pressure adjustment on the car number 24. He was loose from the middle off. Now he is down and away and pulls out in front of Bobby Hamilton. Here comes Jeremy Mayfield likewise down pit road.
He has a long way to come down, though, at 45 miles an hour. And now the 6 car of Mark Martin, who is in the lead, he gives it up to come in. Down to Jerry.
Right side tires. Martin again waiting about a lap and a half or 2 laps after his teammate had pitted. Great stop so far. Left side tires going only second to Earnhardt, taking Phil Weber.
Earnhardt has convinced his crew he's very, very loose. Wedge adjustment, 4 tires. Martin returns to the race. Left side tires being tight. The fuel is in. Now Earnhardt's on his way for $1 million.
Slowly down pit road before he can accelerate and get back up on the racetrack.
Now he can accelerate. Once he goes up by that white line, he can accelerate and get back up to racing speed.
So again, green flag pit stops have just been completed here at Darlington Raceway in South Carolina, where we have live coverage of the Pepsi Southern 500. It's a hot and humid day here in Darlington, South Carolina, as we continue our coverage of the Pepsi Southern 500. We're on board with the leader of the race, Jeff Burton, looking back on the 11 car of Brett Bodine, who now goes 2 laps down in 18th position. It is a sunny day, but it is very hot and it is very humid, but it has not kept the fans from turning out en masse here. These shots from overhead are courtesy of the Pennzoil Copter Cam. Full house here at Darlington once again this afternoon. Okay, well, we told you that the 99 car of Jeff Burton is the leader. Now, the 94 machine of Bill Elliott stayed out long enough to lead a lap. So we have had 5 leaders of the race so far: Jeff Burton, Dale Jarrett, Rusty Wallace, Mark Martin, and now Bill Elliott.
Here we see Rick Mast, the Remington Arms Ford Taurus. He's running back in 40th spot. And Rick not having a large day. He's 5 laps down. There's our Citgo Ford Taurus. Michael Waltrip. He's back in 31st spot. He's a couple of laps down as he goes by Joe Nemechek.
And that is for position.
You see Wally Dallenbach, the Budweiser car. He's in 28th spot. He's a couple of laps down as he tries to close in on Jeff Green, the money store. Looks like money, that car up there, doesn't it? Same color.
Yep.
Jeff Bodine is having a great run today in the Phillips MCI car. He's up in 6th spot in front of Rusty Wallace. And they were talking about Rusty Wallace. There he is. He's the 7th place car in the Miller Lite onboard camera. Right, and Mark Martin is the 3rd place car. About 7 seconds behind the leader, Jeff Burton. But that is Jeff Gordon right in front of him.
Yep.
Gordon really got hung up in some big time traffic a little bit ago and cost him about 6 or 7 miles an hour on 1 lap. And that allowed Mark to come up. Not that Mark isn't running good, because he is. He's running very good. But that really cost Gordon.
Here in Darlington, Jeff Burton has had 3 top 5s and 5 top 10s. Bill Weber.
One of the tires off the right side of Dale Earnhardt's car has been taken by a NASCAR inspector back toward the Goodyear tire compound here in the Winston Cup garage area. They took 1 tire from Earnhardt, and we've been told they also took 1 tire from Jeff Burton. Obviously, all the NASCAR officials are busy working this race, the administrators, but you could speculate that this is part of the continuing inspection process following what happened last week at Loudon. So 1 tire off the 3, 1 off the 99. For more, let's go to Jerry Punch.
And Bill, you can add to that 1 tire off the 24 car, and they have come to get a tire off the 88 team. What NASCAR is going to do, as you alluded to, is randomly take tires during the race to make sure they can keep the playing field level. Random selections, random confiscations of tire to make sure everything stays as even as it should be.
And you got to compliment NASCAR for doing so, because there's so many rumors about people cheating and using soaked tires and whatnot, and this is just one way for them to keep things under control.
Well, they have to. That's all NASCAR has, is credibility. And they must at all costs keep that and make sure that everyone that's watching this telecast, that's talking about this telecast, that's participating in this race today, realizes that everyone has the same chance to win.
Wallace, Earnhardt running in 7th and 8th.
Sort of reminds you of some of the old days when these guys ran together, Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt, they've had some great battles over the years.
That's exactly what I was thinking a moment ago. And I saw these two guys go by. I remember back to 1988 when I was leading the Southern 500, and these two guys came by me, running about like that, as you see them there, passed me, and went on down the road.
And what happened to BP that day?
Well, I think I ran out of tires, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. All right, here's a Hardee's Field summary for you. The manufacturer's battle as it goes on during the running of this race.
There's a battle for position as he tried to get by Jeff Bodine. That will be for 6th spot. Rusty has it.
And Earnhardt goes to 7th. And now may challenge Rusty for 6th.
They're running about 21 seconds behind the leader, which is about 2/3 of a lap. Michael Waltrip just passed Jeff Bodine. I don't know if he must have fresher tires or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he's 2 laps down, Ned, but passing an 8th place car there.
I think that Jeff Bodine hit him before these other cars. And look at Earnhardt dive to the inside of Rusty Wallace to take that spot away. I think that Jeff Bodine pitted earlier and has used up his tires is why he's struggling right now. And one reason that he was in front of these cars.
Dale Earnhardt is now in 6th. Rusty is in 7th.
Earnhardt lost a good bit on that pit stop. A good bit of time on the racetrack because he was only about 12 seconds behind the leader when he came in, and right now he's like 21 seconds behind.
Well, Kenny Irwin and Ernie Irvin have found each other again, and as we have said, they've had some skirmishes out there, not only today but in previous races.
Last time we saw them, it was a 28 Kenny Irwin passing the 36 of Ernie Irvin. This time looks like the shoe is on the other foot. If Ernie can get up there and challenge.
Yeah, Ernie is a lap down in 13th, and Kenny is 2 laps down in the 18th position.
As we watch this battle,
here we go.
Johnny Benson is on pit road, and Ernie goes by pretty clean that time.
Jeff Gordon watching all of this action in front of him. Remember, he's the 2nd place car. Bill Weber.
And Johnny Benson stuck on the pit road. He wants some better tires, a little better handling race cars, and he's got 4 of them, and he's back on his way.
There is Jeff Gordon.
And right behind him is Mark Martin, the Valvoline 4. We can see only 15, 20 car lengths behind those two guys.
Well, we've only had 1 caution period this afternoon, and that is one of the reasons why we are on record pace here in the Pepsi Southern 500. The track record 139.9. And right now, after 166 laps, we're going at 142.4 miles an hour. We'll be right back. We've come a long way since 1950. By the way, one of the car owners of a participant in that 1950 Southern 500, Junie Donlevy, who's still owning cars.
And Bud Moore, too, had a car. In fact, Bud Moore had 2 cars. As we watch this battle for 2nd place, Jeff Gordon had it, and Mark Martin wants it.
And of course, these 2 drivers are not only eligible for the $1 million bonus today, but both of them are very much in contention for the 1998 NASCAR Winston Cup Overall Championship.
As a matter of fact, I guess most people realize they're 1st and 2nd. Jeff Gordon, the 24 car, the rainbow car, is 1st in points, and the 6 car Mark Martin is 2nd.
And we will crown the champion, the Waldorf Astoria in New York in December. But Mark Martin is just a step behind Jeff Gordon as these 2 go for the championship. Mark comes into this race 67 points behind Jeff. Speaking of the Waldorf Astoria, BP is going to be among 12 honored at the Greatest Sports Legends Dinner on October 6th as Jeff Bodine comes in. Congratulations, BP.
Thank you very much, sir.
Well, we talked about Jeff Bodine. His car was getting very, very loose out on the racetrack, so he said, I got to come in and get some tires. He was just about to go a lap down. He was running in the 8th position. Now there are only 7 cars on the lead lap. Kenny Schrader is in 8th position. He just went a lap down as Bodine gets his service and heads back out on the track, and that car will feel a whole lot better to him now.
Yeah, the bad news is, Ned, he was only 28 laps since his last pit stop.
There is the leader of the race, Jeff Burton, coming up to put another lap on Darrell Waltrip, who's back in 41st position. And coming around here about 7 3/4 seconds behind. The leader is Jeff Gordon, and man, he has got Martin glued to his tail, doesn't he?
He sure has. And there we see Ward Burton, who started on the outside pole. His car has not been what he wanted here today. He is a lap down. Ward is in the 9th position.
Both those cars. Let's go inside the Tabasco hot zone to Mark Martin and see what kind of mile per hour he's running now after a few laps of these tires. Up to 167 max down the backstretch. That ought to be the fastest part of the racetrack. Now we'll watch as he accelerates down the front stretch. 167 on the other straightaway. Hey, same thing on this straightaway.
About a little over 8,400 RPMs.
He just blows by Jerry Nadeau. This will probably hurt Mark's speed down this straightaway. Now, 166 once again. I thought passing Nadeau might have something to do with hurting his speed. Did not. And we see that it's hurt his RPM, because now he only turns about 8,400 RPMs. With fresh tires, he could probably turn 87, 8,800 RPMs. And you can hear him just coasting along, waiting. Now back on the throttle, back on the accelerator.
Up ahead, Jeff Gordon puts a car between himself and Mark Martin, and it's another one of the No Bull 5 drivers, Bobby Labonte, but he is not having a very good day. He's 2 laps down in 15th.
He moves over and lets Mark Martin go by.
Well, Mark Martin's prediction last night during our coverage of Happy Hour was correct. He told us during that time period, and in fact he's been saying all weekend, the car that we'll all be chasing on Sunday afternoon is the 99 of Jeff Burton. And he is absolutely right. He's 8 seconds ahead of Jeff Gordon and the rest. As Ray Evernham looks on, we'll take a break here and be back with more live coverage in just a moment of the Pepsi Southern 500 from Darlington. We welcome you back live to ESPN Speed World coverage of the Pepsi Southern 500 from Darlington Raceway in South Carolina. There's a beautiful overhead shot of this facility here. It's been around since 1950 from the Pennzoil Copter Cam. Well, we're seeing some pit stops. A 43 car of John Andretti just came in, and now he's going back out. He's 2 laps down in the 14th position.
Jerry Punch?
Well, they used the terminology that they were using here in the pits. The car just jumped loose all of a sudden. So when that happens, you don't have time to worry about whether you have a tire going down or something broken on the car. At this racetrack, you've got to get it on pit road. That's exactly what John Andretti did. Came in and changed 4 tires. Actually, that's about 21 laps earlier than we would expect some of the other pit stops to take place.
We are 2 laps past the halfway mark, and Jeff Burton picked up the $10,000 for leading at the halfway point, and the leader at halfway has won 7 of the 23 races this season. Dale Jarrett was leader at halftime in the spring race, and he went on to win. And the only race that Jeff Burton has led at halfway was New Hampshire, and he won it.
And we can see what traffic does at this racetrack. He just caused some traffic and had a little bit of trouble getting around that traffic, and Jeff Gordon and Mark Martin was able to close in 3 or 4 seconds on the leader.
Yeah, they were over 7. He was over 7 seconds ahead of them, and now he's less than 5 seconds ahead of Jeff Gordon.
Brett Bodine is in, John.
Track's been pitting a little bit earlier than just about everybody else. It'll be a 4-tire change. Now the NASCAR official is just getting him the word he was too fast down pit road, so they're going to hold Brett Bodine for 15 seconds.
Oh man, you're not having the best day in the world anyway, and then you get this stuck on you.
Insult to injury, huh?
Yeah.
It's going to drop Brett clear back to about 35th in the point in the serial standings here. And Bobby Labonte is coming in, Bill.
And it looks like Bobby's going to be 0 for 4 in his charge after the no goal million. And the even worse news is he's probably not going to get a shot at going 0 for 5, because if you don't finish in the top 5, you don't get a shot at Talladega. He's getting right side tires and left side tires. Basically, the car is not handled good all weekend. Jimmy Makar told him a few laps ago, we've had 5 days to fix this car and haven't been able to do it. But he's on his way with fresh tires, so it'll feel better for a while.
Yeah, they came down here and tested for a couple of days and just never did really get the car the way they wanted it. And of course, Friday and Saturday, I guess they tested 3 days, and still it just can't make it work.
And that's a bit of a surprise because he has run well here. He's finished 8th or better in 5 of the last 6 races at Darlington. There is Burton, and the interval back to 2nd and 3rd. Dale Jarrett, meanwhile, is still back in 4th position, but he is well, we're still waiting to give you an indication of how many seconds.
A little bit ago, he was 15.5 seconds behind. He's cut that down to 13.39 seconds now.
As he goes by Derek Cope in the gum out Pontiac. Derek is back in 15th position. A couple of laps down the lead. Pretty good run for Derek Cope today.
Not bad at all.
There we see Jeremy Mayfield. He is our 5th place car, and not too far behind him is Dale Earnhardt. There we see Earnhardt coming to the picture, and Earnhardt has a good run going today as Kyle Petty peels off the Hot Wheels Pontiac, goes to pit road.
Jeremy and Earnhardt are a little over 21 seconds behind the leader. That's about where Earnhardt was last time we saw him racing with Rusty Wallace. He was 21 seconds behind, so he's sort of holding his own as far as that is concerned.
There's some pretty good career stats for Dale Earnhardt here at Darlington. Hardy's field summary will show you the points positions as they're changing, as positions are changing on the racetrack. Jeremy Mayfield has moved up 1 spot into 5th position, and Bobby Labonte has fallen a spot, and Schrader again has sole possession of 10th.
See what those new tires do. Brett Bodine just drove by Dale Earnhardt, no problem at all. There he goes by Jeremy Mayfield.
And Bobby Labonte will be doing the same thing as Dale Earnhardt goes by Jeremy Mayfield. Goes into that 5th spot.
So Earnhardt is also having a very good run here this afternoon and is right up there in contention for the $1 million bonus.
Jeremy Mayfield started off today running so well, but he is really struggling now trying to keep up, trying to make those adjustments and trying to keep up with the racetrack as it changes.
Now, in terms of miles an hour, how much do those new tires make for you? Well, look at that. Brett just had 4 new tires. He ran a 151.7. Jeff Burton, the leader of the race, was on older tires. The last lap was 147.7.
But he was in traffic too. That might have taken a little bit away from Jeff's time.
And Brett was also in traffic, which also hurt his time as well. And watch all these guys on the fresh tires go right by the leader of the race like he's a slow car.
Yep.
He said, I'll get you back. About 10 or 15 laps. I'll get you guys back.
Burton leads over Gordon, Martin, Jarrett, and Earnhardt.
Here on the backstretch, Kenny Wallace has pitted. They're tightening the car up with a chassis adjustment on the right rear. Last week he announced he would be leaving Philbert Martassi's team to go to the second team being formed by Andy Petrie, a teammate to Ken Schrader for next year. He's also taking the Square New sponsorship with him. Pretty good pit stoppings down and away.
On the front stretch, talking to Kenny Schrader, he just made a pit stop, and also Ernie Irvin just stopped in his Skittles Pontiac.
Ernie building up speed as he stays below that white line through turns 1 and 2.
I think the leaders have been out there about 50 laps since they made their pit stop somewhere in that area, so they'll be coming in the next 15 or so laps.
We're at the 202 lap mark on lap 203. Let's take a look at the Bud race recap. Jeff Burton has led 172 of the first 202 laps. We've had 9 lead changes, only 1 caution period, and that's put the average speed up to above 144 miles an hour. Those who have led a lap, Jeff Burton, of course, the most. Mark Martin did lead 3 laps. Jeff Gordon has not led a lap so far. And incredibly, only 1 car is being shown out of the race. That is Ted Musgrave. Everybody else is still out there on the racetrack, and we've had no real major incidents. We had a spin, but no wall contact, and boy, it's been a great race so far.
I bet you Ricky Rudd's got fresh tires on.
Oh, yeah.
I'll bet you're right, Jerry.
Guys, there's a lot of the guys running up front who have been calling in, and they're talking about, yeah, adjustments they want to make on the car, but almost to a man, every driver I've heard the last 3 or 4 minutes on the radio has asked for Gatorade. We have got to have something to drink. The heat down here is absolutely stifling. We checked it with an infrared detector a moment ago. I just had them shoot my fire suit, and just the heat coming off us down here, it's 107 degrees in the pits. The humidity's got to be almost 90%. It is difficult to breathe in here. I can't imagine what it is inside the race car.
Sterling Marlin is in for a pit stop, running in 8th position. The crew already has completed work on the right side of the car.
Left side tires on. See the rear tire changer had a little bit of trouble. I don't know who wins this race today, but that interview in Victory Lane is going to be rough because they're going to be out of breath for about 15 minutes.
It is a hot and humid day, as Jerry said. Bill Elliott is on pit road.
Now, he had stopped, he was the last one to stop of the leaders before, but here he comes back in now, Jerry.
And you know, Ned, I'm not only sure why, but we're hearing a lot of drivers comment about how loose their cars have get. Here is the 5-time winner at Darlington. 3 of those wins coming in the Southern 500. Elliott's bright gold car number 94, getting right side tires. Now coming to the left side. They clean the grill off as they come by, clean the windshield. As Bobby Hamilton's car goes by, they're trying to get Bill Elliott out as they are putting out the signboard for Jeff Gordon. He will come down pit road. Now Jeff is one of those drivers that had complained his car was a little bit loose. And likewise, Dale Jarrett's car was a tick loose. Here comes the 24 car, the DuPont Chevrolet, down pit road. They're going to put a little bit of wedge in the car, according to Ray Evernham. Crew going to the right side. The handle, that bright orange handle, goes in the right rear window. All right, half around the way as the right side tire is going on. Jeremy Mayfield's in front of Bill Weber.
Jeremy's car has been just a tad loose. They're going to drop the track bar 1/4 inch. Give him 4 tires, send him back out. It's been a good run. Back to Jerry.
They've already made a track bar adjustment on the 88 car. He was loose in the middle of the corner off. 4 tires, an air pressure adjustment, and DJ is down and away.
And we see the leader, Jeff Burton, sitting there. Jerry Bunch.
Right side tires for Jeff Burton. He just said a moment ago, I still need more forward bite. We're going to make a wedge adjustment. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment. Mark Martin, his teammate, also in just behind him. Further down pit road, Russell Wallace is in. Here comes the 99 out. Here comes the 6 out and the 2 out. As this round of pit stop has been completed for the lead car.
These pit stops occurring on the 208th lap. Mark Martin among the last of that trio to get out.
Now,
and we see there's Jeff Burton coming back out. Jeff Gordon is not too far behind him. I thought maybe he'd be able to get in front of him, but he can't do it. Never see Gordon. I was thinking that Gordon might have stopped a little bit early, trying to get out there and get a couple laps of those fresh tires and hope to lead a lap.
he picked up about 1.5 seconds on that pit stop exchange. Gordon did. He was about 3 seconds behind, and now it's only 1.17, so he picked up almost 2 seconds. And some of that could have been while he was stopped in the pit. Some of it could have been coming in and going out.
And Mark Martin is now 3 3/4 seconds behind Jeff Burton. Rusty Wallace was getting close to going a lap down, but he is in 7th spot right now. So there are 8 cars on the lead lap. 8 cars on the lead lap at the end of 210 circuits. Back with more from Darlington in just a moment. Welcome back to Darlington Raceway in South Carolina for the Pepsi Southern 500, being led by Jeff Burton. Well, engines improve as time goes along. As a matter of fact, a big improvement has been made in one of the engines this year. That's the subject of our track fact that Dr. Jerry Punch has from Darlington Raceway. And track facts are being brought to you by Quaker State for protection beyond 3,000 miles under any driving conditions.
To the naked eye, there may not appear to be that big a difference between the old Chevrolet engine used for the last 5 or 6 years and the new SB2, meaning small block 2, being used in 1998. But spinning Clendenin as head engine builder here at Richard Childress Racing, there are some things that we can see.
Doc, as you can see, our intake manifold is taller as compared to the 18 degree. We have individual intake runners on the SB2 as compared to Siamese runners on the 18 degree, plus our valve cover is wider. But the biggest difference is I'll have to show you elsewhere.
Boy, being able to see the heads apart does make a difference, Benny. There's a huge difference physically in the size of the old engine versus the new SB2.
True, that is the biggest difference, Jerry, is the physical size of the cylinder head.
What are we talking about now? 18 degree versus 12 degree. What is that?
Well, let's turn them up and I'll show you. 18 degree is the actual intake valve angle in relation to the block deck surface of the cylinder head. Here we have an 11 degree angle versus the deck. Here we have an 18 degree angle versus the deck.
In other words, the angle, if this is the valve angle here and this is the deck of the block, 18 degree, the old one was like that, 18 degrees up, and the new one you just drop it down about 6 or so degrees to get to 12.
Exactly.
It's that simple.
Yes.
Okay, what's the big advantage for the SB2 over the old engine?
We have a lot more room inside the cylinder head to lead us into the future.
All right, so in other words, initially, this one is as good as what you had, but the potential here is huge.
We certainly hope so.
And I tell you what, the folks at Hendrick Engines and that 24 car, they have found that those SB2s make some really, really good horsepower, because they are just, right now, really true. When they come off the corner, it's almost like pulling the asphalt up. The 24 car makes such great horsepower. We see Jeff Burton, the 99 car, goes by Rusty Wallace and puts Rusty a lap down.
So now only 6 cars are on the lead lap. They include Earnhardt, Mayfield, Jarrett, Martin, Gordon, and the leader, Burton.
Goes by Gary Bradbury in the Pilot Travel Center's Ford.
He's some 5 laps down in 39th position. On board with Rusty Wallace now. And he has been on somewhat of a struggle this year. It does not have a win in the first 23 races of 1998, but his points position, look at that. A year ago at this time, he was 14th in the points, and this year he is 4th. So despite the fact that he doesn't have a win, he's had good consistency with 11 top 5s, 15 top 10s, and 2 DNFs compared to 10 last year.
Well, that makes a big difference in the points. And Jeff Bodine is back in the pits. He was 10th 1 lap down. Now he's in, making a chassis adjustment, getting right side tires. Now they go around to the left side, get those as well. Terry Labonte is in on the backstretch.
These guys are only able to run about 45, 50 laps before they stop and make some tire change.
Meanwhile, the leader comes up on some heavy traffic just ahead. One of the Noble 5 drivers. That is Mike Skinner in the 31 car. He is back in 24th spot, 3 laps down, or just about to go 3 laps down.
Now in this heavy traffic, that's going to let Jeff Gordon catch up. He was a little over 2 seconds behind. Now he's that lap when he came by, he was 1.8 seconds behind. But Burton's still in that heavy traffic. But Gordon's got to go through it also.
He's just hoping that traffic will thin out when he gets there and he doesn't run across cars like this, 3 nose to tail. As Jeff Burton tries to come off the corner, cannot let that car go up the racetrack and use all the racetrack. Ricky Rudd trying to stay in the lead lap, can't do it. And that time, Jeff Gordon's only a 2.25 seconds behind Jeff Burton.
Ricky Rudd is now 3 laps down in 22nd position. Burton off the corner now sees Kenny Wallace ahead. And here comes Gordon to also try to move through this traffic now.
Oh, this is trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to cost him, and Mark Martin is not far behind him. See, Marcus caught Gordon now right on his back bumper. Rugg moves down out of the way. The 31 car of Skinner still there, and John Andretti in the 43 car. Now they'll move to the high side of the racetrack, give Jeff that inside line, which that's what he wants coming off of that turn.
Oh, Skinner almost spun when he came off that corner.
Wow.
Looks like he nailed the accelerator on that SB2 that Spinny Clendena showed us a moment ago and about spun out.
Yep. And now both Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon clear the traffic with both of them passing John Andretti. Meanwhile, Skinner
gets by Andretti.
Yeah.
And that opened that lead back to over 3 seconds then once Jeff Burton got through it and these guys got in it.
Now that was not a pass for position. The 43 car of John Andretti is 2 laps down in 13th. Skinner is 3 laps down in 22nd.
Jeff Burton comes by. Clicks off one more lap. Now 141 to go. He's completed 226. I guess 2 more pit stops, Ned.
Yeah, I would say
At least
have to
two
make at least 2 more.
You can give Jeff Burton the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps here this afternoon. He's been in front 196. Down to Jerry Punch.
Let's check in with Ray Abraham. Ray, you've been dialing the car in and getting closer and closer. Do you have anything for the 99?
Well, I don't know, Jerry. You know, it doesn't look like it, but, you know, we've got still better than 100 laps to keep adjusting and keep hoping the track changes. But he's awful tough. They've got a real good setup.
You've been fighting. The main problem today for you has been a little loose race car.
We started a little bit tight. Now we're a little bit loose. You know, we're pretty close. We're just bouncing around a little bit. We hope to get some track position at the end and maybe we can't make a big adjustment because we're pretty close.
All right, Ray Abraham maybe working on his race car. And guys, remember what happened a year ago? They weren't that close all day long until the final 60 or 70 laps, and suddenly the 24 car on a major adjustment on the final stop came on and won the Winston Million. Let's go to John Kernan.
I'm in Mark Martin's pit with Jimmy Finning and Jack Roush. You're talking over some race strategy right now. Jimmy, that 99 car looks pretty stout. Do you have anything for him?
No, in fact, we just lost a cylinder. We're on 7 cylinders right now.
Wow, so now you hear Mark Martin's just riding around out there on 7 cylinders and lost a lot of power.
Well, I noticed he dropped back to Jeff Gordon there quite a bit, and I wondered if there was something wrong, and sure enough.
Wow, that is a major situation there. Not only in his chance to win that $1 million, but also to stay in the points battle. We'll look at the telemetry and see how many RPMs he is off compared to what he was before. Remember, before he was turning about 8,500 RPMs. Well, there it's up to 82 something.
As he loses power, though, he'll be able to go through the corner a little bit better because when he gets back in the accelerator, he doesn't have that power to spin the tires, so he'll be able to run. Lap speed will not slow down that much on used tires. But you see now he's down to 8,000 RPMs. What a tough break for Mark Martin. He has fought a gallant fight for the last couple of months, hasn't he? Trying to stay up front in this Winston Cup points battle.
Boy, he sure has. Has 14 top 10 finishes, straight top 10 finishes, and 3 wins, and has finished second in 5 of the last 7 NASCAR Winston Cup races here in 1998. Take a look at the top 10 after 229. $1 million can be won by one of 5 drivers here today at Darlington in the No Bull 5. Currently, Jeff Gordon is the highest among those. He is running in 2nd position in the DuPont Chevrolet. And Mark Martin is not too far behind him, running in 3rd position. However, as we heard just a few moments ago, Mark Martin is down a cylinder. The 3 car of Dale Earnhardt is still on the lead lap, and he's running in 6th position. So 3 of the No Bull 5 contenders are in the top 10. The 31 car of Mike Skinner is running back in 20th position. He is 3 laps down to the leader. And the final contestant, the 18 car of Bobby Labonte. He's back in 28th position, and he is 4 laps down. The leader is Jeff Burton, and he has led so far 207 of the 238 laps that have been completed.
That's about as dominant as we've seen a car this year in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series.
You know, and Jeff Burton has been suffering from the flu this week. Did not run the Duralube 200, the NASCAR Busch Series race yesterday afternoon, just to conserve his energy for the 500 miles today. I wonder how he might be feeling out there. Jerry Punch, you heard him. Did he say anything to his crew?
Well, he's been a little weak and wobbly this morning. He has not complained the first time, Benny. In fact, after driver introductions, he went back in the garage area and stayed underneath the shade to try to be able to save himself for most of the day. Now, let's check in with Frankie Stoddard, who is the crew chief on the car number 99, because they're doing some serious calculations on fuel. Right now, Frankie is talking to Jack Roush, who's come down and talked to them a little bit about fuel calculations. What they're trying to decide is this. They want to be able to possibly make it the rest of the way on one pit stop. Frankie, let me ask you, you guys are going to make it the rest of the way on one stop?
I think so, Jerry. We're just picking the gas mileage right now. We think we can make it one more stop. We're going to try it. The Sexside Batteries team's done a great job today, and Jeff's been a little sick under the weather. And, you know, we just come here to Darlington and run hard every time, and maybe we'll do it today.
Around lap, what, 285, 289, somewhere along in there?
Somewhere in there. We're going to see what everybody else is going to do here a little bit. We won't throw everything on the table just yet.
All right, by their calculations, they had gotten mileage close to 75 to 78, even closer to 80 laps. And now Jack Roush is going to go up there, and he and Frankie are going to get together and match the numbers to see if one more stop will be safe enough to bring the 99 home to victory lane. Let's go to John Kernan.
And in Mark Martin's pit, one of the crewmen putting together spark plug wires and a distributor cap. If they get a caution, what they would like to do is come in, bring Mark in under caution, pop the hood, replace the distributor cap and the spark plug wires. However, we've only had one caution so far today, so they're going to need a little luck on their side. But right now, Mark continuing to hang on, and you can hear his car. It almost sounds like it's getting worse as he comes down the front straightaway, but you can tell very clearly that it's only operating on 7 cylinders.
Well, John, he's able to turn some pretty good lap times. That last time, 151.6. The leader was 151, but I'm sure the leader was in traffic. Jeff Gordon was 152.6. So that car is handling well enough for him. As Benny said earlier, you might lose some straightaway speed, but it does let you go through the corner a little bit faster.
And he's still about 9 seconds ahead of the 4th place car of Dale Jarrett. We're still on record pace. The average speed at this point is 144.622. The track record 139.9. How dominant. Oh, we have a caution on the racetrack now for just the 2nd time. It's a debris caution.
And what a break for Dale Earnhardt. Dale Earnhardt is right in front of the leader. I know he's going to race his heart out to beat Burton back. Here comes Burton. Who's he going to be? And Earnhardt will beat him back to the line and stay in the lead lap. Huge break.
Yes, indeed. Only the 2nd caution of the afternoon. Pace car, as you can see, moves out and picks up Jeff Burton, the leader.
Well, now when they make their pit stop, all that strategy goes out the window because now they've all got to make one more pit stop now.
Yep.
6 cars on the lead lap. Of course, they're all pitting on the front stretch.
You mentioned that Jeff has already led 213 laps today. The most laps led by a Southern 500 winner in the modern era was in 1972. 277 laps. So he is a bit away from that, but
well, who did that? Who did that in 1972?
Harry Gant was in 1984 and Cale Yarborough in 73.
Oh.
No, the modern era began, Benny, in 1972.
Oh, so it's Harry Gant and Cale Yarborough both sharing
of them,
that, right?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, in 84 and 73. Let's get out to John Kernan. What are they going to do back there?
A big break for Mark Martin with this caution period. They're going to make 2 pit stops. They'll do 4 tires the first time. He'll go out onto the racetrack. Then they'll come back, pop the hood, check the plug wires, and see if they can fix the miss in the engine.
Here they come. We go down to Bill Weber.
could be a huge break for Jeremy Mayfield because just a few laps ago he told Paul Andrews he might have a right rear tire going down. He's got some debris on the grill. We'll scrape that up. This set of tires was very, very poor for the handling of this race car, so they're thankful to get 4 new tires. The leader's in and Jerry's there.
Half a round of bite for the 99 car. The X-side Ford for Jeff Burton. Likewise in front of him, the 24 car getting left side tires. The race pit stop. 99 is out. Here goes 24. They head down pit road. By the way, 1 round of bite out for the 88 car. A little bit too tight.
They come out the same way they came in. Burton followed by Gordon, Martin, and Dale Jarrett. But we are under caution. 244 of the 367 laps complete at Darlington. It's the Pepsi Southern 500, a Labor Day weekend tradition since 1950. Right now, on the track, it is Jeff Burton, the leader. Mark Martin did come in for a second time as they tried desperately to correct this problem that he's having with a lost cylinder.
Have trouble getting the hood up. Finally, Dennis gets the center pin out. They look, trying to make sure all the plug wires are on. They might have switched to a different ignition. I don't know. They checked everything out. And now I'm sure they're huddling, trying to figure out what they're going to do now. John Kernan, what they're saying?
They said all the plug wires look fine. That's what they checked. Now they've got a spark plug out, so they're going to try and change the spark plug to see if that might be the problem. They're waiting now for Mark to come back down pit road, but there's some discussion as to whether or not they can do it fast enough without losing a lap.
Well, of course, his second pit stop has dropped him to the back of the line, so he is the last car on the lead lap now in 6th position as Mark Martin tries to battle for that $1 million bonus available here this afternoon. As you can see, the NASCAR officials have called for the track blowers to come onto the track and get rid of some of that buildup that you've been talking about all race long, Ned.
Yeah, it's been going up high on the racetrack. And here Skinner's getting out of his car. We heard that he was getting a little bit sick. They were looking for a replacement, so it looks like they're getting it. Morgan Shepherd going in the car. Morgan did not qualify for the race, so he'll be fresh. And Mark Martin's back in, John.
And they, after some discussion, they decided to go ahead and chance it. Now they've asked Mark to shut the engine down. They're going to, they've told him to shut it down. There he does. Now they're going to change the spark plug. They didn't know if they would have a chance to do it. Bobby Leslie, who's Mark's Busch Series crew chief, also a spotter, telling them, keeping an eye on the pace car coming out of turn 2, headed down the backstretch. So now the crew going to work, they get the old plug out, trying to put the new plug in. Waiting. Oh, man, Mark just must be the most patient person in the world, because I would be going nuts right now if I were him. Looks like they've got the plug in. Pace car entering turn 3. Actually, he can fire it up even if they don't get it done. So now they getting ready to put the hood down. The hood pins on, and also Mike Skinner is sitting on the wall. He's not feeling very well right now. In fact, he's gotten out of the car. Morgan Shepherd has gotten into the number 31 Lowe's Chevrolet.
Of course, Morgan won't be a stranger to that car because he did some relief driving while Mike was sitting out with his injury earlier in the year. And there you see Ken Schrader. He's been making numerous pit stops with a power steering problem.
So the jet dryers have been called out not to dry the track, but to blow this these bits of rubber that come off the tires and accumulate at the top of the racetrack.
And there's 3 or 4 of the blowers out there, and they're not only blowing off the racetrack, they're also blowing off the exit and entrance to pit road. That is the exit for the guys on the front stretch, the entrance for the fellas on the back stretch. So they're blowing all this off.
And John Kernan is now with Mike Skinner.
Mike has poured some cold water on himself, talking to his car owner, Richard Childers, right now. Mike, how you feeling?
I'm okay. I think I got a little carbon monoxide poison or something in the car, and I knocked the side off of it. Thing got real loose, and I probably knocked the crush panels out or something, and just got a little foggy, and probably could have made it all right, but it wasn't worth taking the chance. As bad as we're running, it's a good race car. We just missed the setup today. We'll keep the thing, the snout and rear clip on it. Morgan will do us a good job.
Mike Skinner out for now. Morgan Shepherd in to do the relief role.
And Morgan's back in, probably getting the belts adjusted. Yeah, we're seeing him trying to tighten those belts back up. You don't want to go around there with the belts loose.
And the 6 car also in again. And the hood down once again. They push him out to keep him on the lead lap. We'll get a report from John Kernan when we come back from break. There are the spotters that stand high overhead and keep their drivers informed as to what's going on the racetrack. Just about a half a lap away from getting this race back underway. We go down to Jerry.
Well, Todd Parrott, from our observations, well, first you were tight, then you were loose, and you were tight again. How are you now?
Well, the car's still just a tick tight, and took around the bite out of it that time. The car got real loose there after the first pit stop, and he was just hanging on for dear life. And adjusted track bar, spring rubber, got it too tight, but I guess that's good because now we can free it up just a little bit here toward the end of the race. Dale's doing okay. Pretty hot out there. It's hot in here, so I can only imagine how hot it is in there. And I'd like to wish James Luter a speedy recovery back home in Charlotte. Get well, buddy. We're pulling for you.
All right, Todd Parrott, the crew chief for Dale Jarrett. We're getting ready to go green, Bob.
Here comes the field off of corner number 4 as the crowd stands and cheers as the green flag waves and we get back to racing.
Oh, we got a crash back there in the back, but didn't hit anything so far. And believe it or not, Derek Cope, who really needed a good run, was the car that spun around. Some damage to the left rear of his car.
He was running back in 15th position. It does not bring out a caution. The green stays out, and so they race down the backstretch.
Dale Jarrett was able to get around the 24 car of Jeff Gordon on that between turns 1 and 2.
Take a look at the replay. As the green was coming out, trouble erupted in the back of the field.
Derek Cope is going to be the car that gets hit from behind, and I think it's
Ward Burton.
Like the 22 car of Ward Burton might have tagged him a little bit as they really were all jammed up there. It was sort of and now Derek is in the pits, so it was a chain reaction type of a deal. And he got the worst end of the bargain.
And had a great run going.
Sure did. Race is under green as he comes in for the tire stop. All 4s being changed. Meanwhile, back on the racetrack, Burton is still leading. Dale Jarrett is in 2nd position. It is Jeff Gordon here in 3rd spot. Again, at the very beginning of the program, we talked about 2 potential spoilers and mentioned the names Jeff Burton and Dale Jarrett. They are running 1st and 2nd at the moment, and indeed spoiling the effort by Jeff Gordon, who is in 3rd. John Kernan.
That caution was a big break for Dale Earnhardt. He had reported a tire vibration, so he got to come in, put on 4 new tires without losing a lap. Let me show you what happened. Look at this mark right here. This little red-pink mark on the tire shows where the wheel weight should be. There's no wheel weight there. Instead, the wheel weight's all the way around on this side. What happened was when he left the pits the last time, the tire actually stuck on the pavement as he left, and that caused the wheel to actually spin. So that's pretty interesting. I don't think I've seen that too often.
Meanwhile, a battle for 2nd is developing as Jeff Gordon looks inside of Jarrett down the backstretch, headed into 3. Jeff takes the 2nd spot from Dale.
And here comes Jeremy Mayfield coming right in there too in the 12 car.
2nd, 3rd, and 4th running right together here.
Jeremy Mayfield, the 12 car, ran awfully well at the very beginning of this race. If he could get that car back like it was then, he might be a car to be reckoned with.
Right here's where Jarrett is really hurting coming off of turn 2. Gordon pulling about 3 car lengths coming off of that turn.
When we talked to Ray Evernham earlier, he reminded us about how a year ago Jeff Gordon chased the car just about all race long and was able to get it right for the closing laps and come on and win and take home the Winston Million at that time. Could we be seeing history repeat itself? The Pennzoil copter cam shows us Jeff Gordon now to the inside of Bobby Hamilton, who's in 27th position 4 laps down. Right behind Jeremy Mayfield is Dale Earnhardt, and remember what happened to him a year ago.
Yeah, that's right. This is the 1-year anniversary of Dale Earnhardt.
And we
passing out.
We still don't know what happened.
Whatever happened to him, that's right.
John Kernan, did they get Mark Martin's problem fixed during that long caution period?
No, they did not, Bob. They changed the spark plug. They put a new spark plug wire on the dead cylinder. And no, it did not fix the problem. So Mark is out there running still on 7 cylinders, hoping to hang on to the lead lap and at least a 6th place finish.
He is in 6th, the final car on the lead lap. And the fewest cars in the lead lap this year have been 4 at Dover. The fewest in a 500-mile race this year, 8 at Atlanta. The 41 car of Steve Grissom showing both damage on the left front and the left rear.
And some of that could have come in that restart down there, because I saw a lot of cars really jammed up, and you can see the damage on the rear of his Kodiak Chevrolet, Steve Grissom, and there were a lot of cars that bumped. Derek Koch was the only one that really got spun out.
Right now Grissom is running 23rd, and then you see that new paint job. Evidently Kodiak's trying to sell a new product called Kodiak Ice.
Jeff Burton, 1.69 seconds ahead of Jeff Gordon. Well, there is Dale Earnhardt. Jeremy Mayfield looked like he got stuck behind the Bobby Hamilton car.
And Earnhardt, boy, you give him a little bit of an opening and he'll go for it.
You bet. Bill Elliott, although he is 2 laps down, is in the top 10 in 10th position. A former $1 million winner. He was the first winner of the Winston Million way back in 1985. 264 laps are completed. We're just a little more than 100 away from the end of the Pepsi Southern 500. Now Jeremy Mayfield is in 5th position, and Bill, are we hearing bad news about him?
There was some bad news for a moment, Bob. Jeremy Mayfield radioed in and said the water temperature just went all of a sudden to 250 degrees. So that was right after Earnhardt was ready to go past him. So when Earnhardt went around him, Jeremy dropped back a little bit. That got a little more air into the front of the car. They cooled it off. It's down to 240, and they think they're going to be okay. But they're watching it very closely. Very, very frightening moment for this crew. They've got a great car, and they've got very high hopes.
240 is awfully hot for these cars. That's about 240, 250 is about all the water will stand. And you wonder, well, how do they stay in the car anyway? Because boiling point is 212 degrees, because they use, the water is under pressure, and each pound that you raise the pressure, you raise the boiling point 3 degrees.
Looks like Rusty is missing a piece of the rear bumper on the right side.
Yeah, he could have been one of those cars that was in that restart jam up that we had as Ernie Irvin pulls down on the inside of it in the Skittles Pontiac.
That's a battle for position, battle for the 8th spot, and Ernie takes it away.
There are 3 cars that are 1 lap down. Sterling Marlin, Ernie Irvin, and the 2 car of Rusty Wallace. Then they're 6th, 7th, and 8th, or 7th, 8th, and 9th. And then you go to 10th place, Bill Elliott, who is 2 laps down.
Along with Jeff Bodine, Kenny Wallace, Ward Burton, and Ken Schrader. You see it flapping around, can't you? Well, Jeff Gordon has caught Jeff Burton.
Yes, he certainly has. And what's up with this? Does Burton have a problem, or was it just traffic? He has some type of problem.
Yeah, he was 3 miles an hour off the pace the last lap. And here comes Gordon trying to take the lead for the first time today. And he's got it.
Indeed, he has. So on lap 274, Jeff Gordon passes Jeff Burton and takes the lead in the Pepsi Southern 500. Possibly headed for another $1 million payday.
You know, we saw the 16 car have a problem today. Kevin LePage's car had an engine problem today. Mark Martin has lost a cylinder in his car. I wonder if Jeff Burton has a similar problem. All these cars, Jack Roush cars, could it be something that jumped out and bit Jack Roush today?
And we're seeing a lot of cheers as Jeff Gordon goes into the lead, Jerry.
Well, Jeff Burton doesn't have an engine problem. That's the good news for the 99 crew. The bad news is the car has been really good all day long until now. And now he is very tight in the middle of the corner and very loose coming off. The car has just sort of gone away chassis-wise after having almost a perfect afternoon. And, of course, they're all going to have to make one more pit stop around lap 310 and 315. Right now, all Burton can do is hang on and wait to make an adjustment.
He is the 6th leader in the Pepsi Southern 500, but the first Chevy driver to be in front of a lap here at Darlington.
And right now, Jeff Burton with his ill-handling race car, and it's great news that he doesn't have some type of engine problem, so Jack Roush would really be upset if 3 of his cars have a problem. But Jeff Burton right now is using all the racetrack, every bit of the racetrack, trying to get around the track. And that is so, we saw Jeff Gordon try to do it last year. We saw Jeff Gordon hit the wall. Jeff Burton really has got to hang on for the next 30, 40 laps and try to stay out of that wall up there.
1 year ago, it was Jeff Gordon and Jeff Burton fighting for the lead on the final lap, and these two are running first and second here at the Pepsi Southern 500 in 1998. We'll be right back. Back at Darlington, there are the first two, Jeff Gordon and Jeff Burton, and our shots from high overhead Darlington Raceway being brought to you by the Pennzoil Copter Cam. Well, the place where you can get information of all sorts regarding NASCAR Winston Cup and all phases of NASCAR racing is www.nascar.com. You can find out race results and the latest news, anything your heart desires at www.nascar.com. NASCAR Online. Well, looks like Wally Dallenbach has made a pit stop, huh?
Certainly appears that way. He's got to stay under that yellow line as he gets out of the race. Oh, there's a yellow line. Still, now he'll blend in with traffic down the front stretch.
Rick Mast has not had a good afternoon. He is all the way back in 40th position, some 7 laps down. And again, only one car is listed as out of the race. That's Ted Musgrave. There is a car off the track. That is Brett Bodine. We're on board with Rick Mast, and we're looking back to Jeff Gordon.
That's what Rick Mast certainly does not want to see, because that means he'll go yet another lap down, and there's only 5 or 6 car lengths between himself and Gordon.
Boy, Jeff Gordon has an incredible record here at Darlington. Didn't get off to a very good start, but in the last 6 races, his average finish has been 1.5, and that includes 6 wins and no DNFs.
That is incredible. You talk about the 11 car being off the track. Brett Bodine, he's having a radiator problem, so he's repairing that. Probably got stopped up with all that rubber or something, maybe. But anyway, that's the reason Brett's off track.
And now Jeff Gordon's going to run across a lot of traffic. There we see Kenny Schrader. 33 car is 14th.
3 laps down.
He's running around there with no power steering. Here's Jeremy Mayfield as he goes by the 42 car of Joe Nemechek. That's their 5th place car. Bill Weber.
Yeah, BP, they got that water temperature down to about 220, so they're happy about that. Speculation could be they might have gotten something on the grill that forced that temperature to go up a little bit, then it blew off. But water temp back down to 220, much more comfortable for these guys.
Yeah, they can live with that kind of a temperature.
That would be no problem at all for these cars.
Jeremy is right now almost 7 seconds behind Jeff Gordon.
Jeremy used a provisional to get into the field in the spring race here at Darlington. There is Dale Earnhardt, who is currently 4th, about 4 seconds behind Jeff Gordon.
He's about 2 seconds behind Dale Jarrett, the 3rd place car.
His best finish in the last 5 races here at 12th, so he's doing better than that today. Now we're on board with Mark Martin, and again you can see how that loss of a cylinder is handicapping him.
Yeah, he's 25 seconds behind, Bob. He's only about 7 seconds from going a lap down.
only advantage that Mark Martin had today was at least they ran enough green flag laps that all the cars except 6 were lapped. So now as he runs around on 7 cylinders, at some racetracks he would go back to 30th. But to this racetrack, if he can just stay on the lead lap, the worst he can finish will be 6th, which would be a huge break to run around on 6 cylinders and still finish in the top 10.
Mark Martin, a former winner here at Darlington, won the Pepsi Southern 500 back in 1993.
Never seen Mark, and back there someplace comes Jeff Gordon.
And Mark is 25.5 seconds behind now, so he lost a half a second in that last lap.
But there's a lot of traffic right in front of Jeff Gordon right now, and I think he probably will have trouble getting by these cars as Dennis Setzer moves over. Check our AutoZone on-track interval, and you see that he was 23.5, and in 5 laps he gained 2 seconds on Mark Martin. Jeff Gordon gained 2 seconds on Mark Martin. Look, Jeff, how good he is, 32.1 to 32.4, just 3 tenths. But right now these slower cars are causing him some problems, slowing him down a little bit.
That car is handling well enough now, just like when he passed Dick Truckle there, coming off of turn 2, that he could do it very easily.
Jeff Gordon back there is catching up with Michael Waltrip, with whom we are riding right now. He's 21st position. Right now is 3 laps down as Jeff Gordon closes in, trying to put him 4 laps down.
They complete another lap down in turn 1. This looks like a long ways, but folks, it's only 3 or 4 car lengths. And watch Jeff Gordon as he comes off 2. Michael got off that corner pretty well, though. Pretty doggone well. Now as he goes in the corners where Jeff really closes in on Michael. Tries to get under him as he comes off the turn 4. And can't quite make it.
Have to wait for another opportunity, possibly down here in 1. And Michael's going to move up and allow Jeff to pass by on the low side. So Michael is now 4 laps down in 21st position. There's Jeff Burton, and he has closed in a little bit, but again, he will have to move through the same traffic that Jeff Gordon is moving through right now. Laps are clicking off. 292 laps have been completed out of the 367 that make up the Pepsi Southern 500 here at Darlington for 1998. Jeff Gordon is leading. Back in a moment. Mark Martin is still on the lead lap and is also a contender for the $1 million bonus, but his car is down a cylinder.
And Mark Martin in jeopardy of going a lap down.
And the other 2 are already at least 1 lap down. Bobby Labonte is 3 laps down in 19th, and Mike Skinner is 4 laps down in 23rd.
I said that Mark is in jeopardy going a lap. He is the next car in front of Jeff Gordon. Ever see Jeff Gordon? And right in front of him is Mark Martin.
We now have our second car, only our second car officially out of the race. It is Brett Bodine in car number 11, and that is the first time that he has not completed a race this year. Coming into this event, he and Mark Martin were the only 2 without DNFs, and now Brett Bodine has one. So Mark is the only one left.
So it's a radiator on the 11 cars. We mentioned a little bit earlier that he has a hole in that radiator. Couldn't repair it.
And also Brett had completed 98.5% of the laps in this year, the 3rd highest. Mark Martin now is 1 lap down.
And he's in 6th place, but now that the fact that he's a lap down, that opens up the door for Ernie Irvin, for Sterling Marlin and Rusty Wallace to try to catch him and pass him for the position.
There are 67 laps to go, and now we approach the window where the final pit stops are going to be happening. That's a battle for position. These guys are both 3 laps down, but Kenny Irwin just went into 16th spot and put Terry Labonte back to 17th. Again, the pit stops will be coming up before too long, so we're going to sneak a break in here so that we can show you what happens during those very crucial pit stops as the Southern 500 is drawing to a conclusion. And the 28 car, who we just saw take a position from Terry Labonte and move into 16th spot, they're pushing it behind the wall.
Man, that is a tough break. Kenny Irwin had a good run going. Started back in provisional, and as I said, had worked his way into the 16th spot. Bill Weber, what's going on down there?
Well, Jeremy Mayfield is on pit road for what should be his final green flag stop. His car is very, very loose, as it's been all day, but the water temperature problem is back, up to 260 degrees. They're trying to pull what little tape is on the grill off of it. They really need to brush it clean, getting 4 tires, but they need to get that grill as clean as possible. Now they scrub it off, and now Mayfield heads back on the track. One final shot at winning the Southern 500.
Johnny Benson rolls out. Ward Burton also comes out. In is Ricky Rudd. You can see the work going on the Tide Ford.
You see, Jeremy was fighting the loose race car, and as soon as he got to the what he thought was a proper window, he stopped.
And John Andretti's coming in, Bobby Hamilton, Derek Cope is back in, Ricky Rudd just going out of the pits. So that's exactly what all of them are doing too.
Dale Earnhardt should be making a pit stop very soon. Again, he's in 4th position and the last car on the lead lap. The crew is waiting for him.
There we see that nice wet towel and a cool drink of water.
We also hear that they're calling in the 99 of Jeff Burton.
Now that doesn't surprise me, because Jeff Burton has been the class of the field all day. All of a sudden he's struggling with his race car. Here he comes. Let's make some changes to this thing. Let's get it better for this last run.
Down off the banking and on to pit road. Jerry, he's headed to you.
And they are going to make changes, Benny. In the car number 99, they're going to come up on the track bar. They're going to go up on the air pressure in the right front, down on the air pressure in the right rear. Here comes the car number 88 down pit road. Dale Jarrett likewise will make a slight adjustment in his Ford. They're also calling the car number 24 in to make an adjustment. Right side tires. There is the wedge adjustment, or the track bar adjustment rather, on the car number 99. The 88 car also on pit road, the Quality Care Ford. Final pit stop for Dale Jarrett, trying to get both these cars dialed back in. As the 99 car is down and away, he heads down. They're still working on the left side of the car number 88. Now the 24 car coming down for his final pit stop, trying to win 4 consecutive Pepsi Southern 500. They're going to take a half out, a round out, the right rear of the car number 24. Trying to get a little more fight in the car, tugging up a little bit more. Now left side tires going on. The Rainbow Warriors scampering around. Earnhardt is out in the car number 3. Final pit stop. 24 car down and away. Gordon out, Earnhardt out, and Rusty Wallace on pit road for what will be his final stop as the Miller Light crew now goes to work on the right side of that car. Changing tires, no wedge adjustment, no track bar, slide air pressure only. Now left side of the car going up the Miller Time Ford. Rusty, with a great qualifying run, has never won here at Darlington. Would love to be able to get a good finish today. His car down and away.
And the 99 car of Jeff Burton has just gone into the lead. You can see the interval there between first and second, but Burton once again has command.
Has the lead. Looked like Shane Parslow had just a little bit of trouble on the right front tire on the 24 car. Plus, Jeff Gordon ran one more lap. That's why he had to come in the pits. When those other guys came in, he had no choice but to pit and get on 4 tires.
Dale Jarrett about 4 1/3 seconds back, and Dale Earnhardt is almost 7 seconds back. More from Darlington in a moment. Jeff Burton is once again in the lead of the Pepsi Southern 500 here at Darlington, about a second ahead of Jeff Gordon. And a reminder that we have 2 baseball players that are chasing history, Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. And any updates that we have as Mark Martin begins to smoke, we will have immediately for you. So stay with us here on the worldwide leader in sports.
This is not a good picture. For Mark Martin and his fans, this is not a good picture.
It's a blow, of course, to his winning the $1 million here this afternoon, and probably in the larger picture for the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship, although the season is far from over.
Man,
He'd probably pay $1 million not to have this problem here.
Get this engine back on 8 cylinders, and I'll give him $1 million. man, oh man, it's getting worse and worse. I guess he'll just keep going till he won't go no more. What other choice does he have?
Moments ago, a little incident on the racetrack took our breath. Between the 44 and, oh boy, Kyle was sideways, wasn't he?
He did a great job of straightening that thing out and not getting it into the wall. He and Jeff Bodine got together.
I see Bodine was coming out of the pits, I guess, and Kyle was on the racetrack. And there we see our leader, Jeff Burton. And right now, he seems to be pulling away from Jeff Gordon.
He is. He's almost 1 3/4 seconds ahead of Jeff now, and a few laps ago it was a second. There is Jeff with several of the lap cars between himself and Burton.
And now it's almost 2.5 seconds between the leader and Jeff Gordon. So right now, Jeff Burton, evidently, whatever change they made on that pit stop is certainly working.
Put him right back where he was earlier to a dominant position.
Same scenario, but different, same players, but different scenario from last year as Burton and Gordon are running first and second.
Mark Martin still running slowly around there. He is still in 6th place. But I'm sure NASCAR keeping a very close eye on that to be sure that there's no fluid coming from that car. We're seeing the smoke coming from it, but so far they haven't black flagged him. They're looking closely at it.
Well, he's on the apron of the racetrack right now. And now he's coming to pits. He's coming to the pit road.
Told you earlier that he and Brett Bodine, the only two that have not had DNFs this year. Brett is out of the race, so that means that Mark is the only one right now. Could his race be about over?
There we see Mark going down. We saw Jack Roush talking to him. There we see our leader, Jeff Burton.
And we'll show you the interval now back to the 24 car. There's Jeff. We've already had the final pit stop. That is regarding no more cautions. And I'm not sure that they've got this car the way they want it in the last part of the race.
Now it's 47 laps for Jeff Gordon to figure out how he's going to get up there and catch Jeff Burton.
There you can see how the interval is widened from laps 315 to 319.
And check that out, 31.2, 31.2. Jeff Gordon, but Jeff Burton, 30.9, 30.9. He had a couple of those 31.2s, but those 30.9s, about 0.3 of a second faster than Jeff Gordon.
So will the track come to Jeff Gordon? Will we have another caution that he can continue to work on the car, or will Burton walk away with the title here this afternoon and prevent Jeff from winning the Noble $5 million? Here's John Kernan with an update on Mark.
Well, he's on pit road. The hood is up. Smoke just boiling out from underneath the hood. They've got the rags blowing oil out from underneath the valve cover. They're also going to have to refill the oil tank, put more oil in, but they sent back for more oil. And you can see Jack Roush wiping the oil away. Just a lot of oil that the car has put out underneath the valve cover. Now they're taking towels, putting it around, take some tie straps just to try and get the leak stopped. They'll add oil and then they'll get Mark back out onto the racetrack, and they will just send him out to run as many laps as he can complete.
And so his string of 14 straight top 10 finishes, including 3 wins, apparently is broken as Mark Martin sits on pit road and helplessly sees his car with problems. His teammate, however, Jeff Burton, is in the lead and is now 2 3/4 seconds ahead of Jeff Gordon. All right, we're back now at Darlington, where Mark Martin's car has been pushed to the garage area and Mark has gotten out.
When they got the car filled back up and wanted to go back on the racetrack, they tried to push it to restart it. And I think the engine was locked up and would not turn over, so they had no choice but push it back to the garage area. There's our leader, his teammate, Jeff Burton, the X-Side Batteries, Ford Taurus.
He just passed the 13th place car of Ken Schrader to put him 4 laps down. There are only 5 cars on the lead lap. John is with Mark Martin.
And Mark Martin is very disappointed. Mark Martin has pulled into the garage area, gotten out of the car. Mark, I guess a valve stem or valve spring broke or something.
I don't know. Lost a cylinder. Finally it locked up. We're giving it all we could. I sure hope Burton wins this thing. He's awesome today. He deserves it. We had a good car till we lost a cylinder, and then she just wouldn't make it on 7.
Mark Martin in the garage, but his teammate Jeff Burton is leading. For more on him, let's go to Dr. Jerry Punch.
And John, when you watch this dominating performance by Jeff Burton today, it's hard to believe this is the same driver who has had the flu all week long. And earlier this week, Jeff Burton did something very uncharacteristic for him. He decided he was going to take a day off. He didn't feel that well. He knew the only way he was going to heal up was to stay home. He called. He regretfully had to cancel some personal appearances and just stayed on the sofa and in bed all day. He came here on Saturday, did not run the Busch race because he wanted to save it for today. Now, I just asked Frankie Stoddard, his crew chief, a moment ago, how's he doing? He said, Doc, we know he's not 100%. We know right now he's probably not even 90%. But this guy is better at 85% at Darlington than most guys here. This is his place.
There is Frankie on the radio with Jeff. He has led 265 of the 332 laps.
Frank was telling me this morning just how much Jeff Burton likes this racetrack. But folks, don't look now, and I'm not trying to hype, but let me tell you something. Jeff Gordon is catching it. Just thought I'd throw that out.
A little heightening of the suspense here.
Well, the last lap, Gordon ran over a mile an hour faster than did Burton. Let's see, this time he still ran a mile and 1/10 faster than Burton did.
And there was no traffic in front of Jeff Burton that time, so. Like I said, I just want to throw that out, Bob.
Well, I understand. What that means is, folks, don't go away.
Exactly.
This race is not over yet. Although 333 of the 367 are complete. Back with more in just a moment. We're back at Darlington, and there is what Benny was talking about just a few moments ago. Look at the incredible run that Jeff Gordon has had on Jeff Burton the last few laps, slicing the interval from 2.3 seconds to less than 1 second.
I mean, look at those laps, 3.5, 3.5, and 3.6. Every lap the same, and we've run several laps with these tires. He's supposed to be down in the 32-second break. Both these guys are really running strong, trying their best to win. But Jeff Gordon running some incredible laps.
Well, if you go back in history and you look at what he has done in the past, he's 2 for 2 when racing for $1 million bonus. He won here at Darlington last year to win the Winston Million, and of course he won the No Bull Million at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway during the Brickyard 400. We have completed 339 laps. We're on lap 340, and it looks like the lead change is imminent.
Well, this is about what happened last year, although it was closer to the end of the race when Jeff Burton was trying to pass Jeff Gordon. So here goes Gordon on the inside. He's got that spot, and there's nothing Burton can do except Jeff, go ahead now. Try to go back on the inside. Can he make it stick? Oh, this is tough, tough.
Oh, man, they come out of the corner, and Gordon does have the lead. But boy, Jeff gave him a good battle.
Wow.
I think Burton will be credited with leading that last lap. So Jeff will pick up the lead officially on lap 341. Previously, Jeff led 37.
They're closing in on the 5th place car. Up there you see Jeremy Mayfield, who is running in 5th place, in jeopardy of going a lap down.
See Frankie Stoddard talking to his driver. Hey, Frankie and those guys have done a terrific job. Evernham
just sitting there. Watching and waiting.
You have to wonder if after they made that last pit stop and Burton ran away from Gordon there for a little bit, if Gordon maybe didn't press as hard as he could have at that point, getting those tires, saving those tires as much as you could, and let that air pressure build up and then make the run. Looks like he certainly has made the run. Now, whether that was his strategy or not, don't know.
He is a very, very patient race car driver, Jeff. Gordon is. We see Jeremy Mayfield go right in front of Burton. This is going to cost him some time.
And the 5th place car is now a lap down Jeremy Mayfield. 4 cars remain on the lead lap. Gordon, Burton, Jarrett, and Earnhardt.
And Earnhardt is about 20 seconds behind the leader, so he's not in jeopardy of going a lap down. He's still about 12 seconds away from going a lap down.
Is Jeff on pace to win another championship? Look at the statistics. Average finish in his championship year of 1995, 9th. It was the same in 1997. This year, his average finish in the first 23 races, 7.1 to be exact. So actually, at this point of the season, he is better than his previous 2 championship seasons.
Well, there's no doubt he is better. I mean, he is having a phenomenal. Martin's having a phenomenal year.
Yeah.
It's just that Jeff Gordon is having an unbelievable year.
And so is Dale Jarrett, for that matter.
Yes.
Now he's stretched out the interval to over a second. 344 laps have been completed, which leaves 27 something. Dale Earnhardt, who is also in line to win $1 million if he can win the race here today, is having a tremendous run. He is in the 4th position, and if he stays there, it will equal his best run of the year, with the exception of his win at the Daytona 500. He finished 4th in Martinsville, and his only other top 5 finish this year was at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, which resulted in his being eligible for the No Bull 5. He finished 5th in that race. And his best finish in the last 5 Darlington races has been 12th. So he is having a good run here today.
Dale Earnhardt is having a terrific run here today. Maybe his run by his son yesterday, Dale Earnhardt Jr., inspired him. There he is. 21 more laps. 20 more laps when he comes by the start-finish line this time.
Bob Jenkins, Benny Parsons, Ned Jarrett, John Kernan, Bill Weber, and Dr. Jerry Punch return to Darlington Raceway in South Carolina for the Pepsi Southern 500. Jeff Gordon completes lap number 351 and has a 1.1 second lead on Jeff Burton. Look at the graphic. In the first 10 races of 1998, Jeff was having a tremendous season. The last 13 races have even been better. His average finish of 4th
in the last 13 races. That is absolutely phenomenal. We see Ernie Irvin there in the Skittles car. He's running in 6th place, and now Jeff has put him 2 laps down.
Another statistic, Gordon is trying to win his 6th race in the last 7 events. The only blemish was a miserable 5th place finish, if you want to call it that, at Bristol.
But Jeff Burton is not letting him get away. He's staying about the same. He's about a second behind. He's staying right there, about the same distance.
In fact, the last lap, he was a mile an hour faster than was Gordon. And so, yeah, don't count him out yet. Maybe he just back off a little bit to cool his tires.
Yep. Take a deep breath and get himself in shape for these last 15 laps. Jeff Burton has 4 career wins. His most recent was in July of this year at New Hampshire.
Okay, that Ernie Irvin we saw just a moment ago, the Skittles car, that's another car that's been doing a terrific job in the last 5 or 6 races.
Sure have. Sat on a couple of poles.
Yep.
And led a lot of laps at Michigan. And just really has been good. Had a good run here today.
The last time Jeff Burton was a 2.25 seconds back. Now he's a little over 2.5 seconds. So he is now losing a little ground to Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, the last time Gordon was almost 2 miles an hour faster on that lap than was the 99 car.
Jeff Burton 1.65 seconds behind. Now, look at the First Plus Financial Field Summary. You'll notice that the first 5 positions don't change, but what you do have to consider is that Mark Martin, because he is out of the race, is going to lose a tremendous number of points to Dale Jarrett and everybody else for that matter. The only point change in the top 10, Schrader now breaks the tie with Andretti. Ernie Irvin would move up 2. Bobby Hamilton would fall 2. The interval back from first to second. It is 1.84 seconds the last lap. There are 11 laps to go.
Darrell Waltrip going slow down on the inside. You see him headed towards the pits, apparently on the backstretch. But his car looks like it's coasting. I don't know if he has an engine problem or something happened, but it's not going in at the normal rate of speed.
This was his 51st start here at Darlington. 5 wins to his credit for Darrell Waltrip. He's won the spring race 4 times and won the Southern 500 back in 1992. Tabasco Pontiac finding its pit stall over on the backstretch as Jeff Gordon now has 10 laps to go.
Now he has about a 2 3/4 lead on Jeff Burton. Just ever so slowly, 100th or 1/10 of a second a lap pulling away from Burton. But Jeff Burton now still has a 12-second lead on Dale Jarrett, the 3rd place car.
Down to John Kernan in the Jeff Burton pit.
Talking with the crew chief, Frankie Starr. Frankie, the laps are winding down. Do you have anything left to catch that 24 car?
I'd like to see a caution right now, but we're probably not going to get it with him leading the race. Now, it don't look very good right now. We've had a great car all day, and Jeff has done a great job. He hasn't felt well all week, and, you know, based on that, I think if we come out of here with the top 2 finish, we won't be happy because we've lost way too many Southern 500s. And this one here is going to be hard to stomach again, but looks like that's what's going to happen.
So Frankie has all but given up, but of course you never do until the checkered flag falls.
Now 8 laps to go. But there again, I mean, Jeff Gordon could hit a spot of oil, water, something, go up and brush. You see how close he's coming to the wall. Wouldn't take much to go up and just brush that wall. And if he did, he'd have to back off, and Jeff Burton could slide in there.
There you see the points as of now, and Mark would fall almost 200 behind Jeff, and Dale Jarrett would only be 49 behind Mark Martin. 7 laps to go, 360 complete. The interval is 2.5 seconds back to Jeff Burton.
And you know what? We go to Darlington for to Talladega for the Winston 500, the next No Bull 5 race.
Yep.
Another fan will be down there. 5 more fans will be there with a chance to pick up a $1 million bonus.
And of course, the top 5 finishers here this afternoon will also have a shot at $1 million. Right now, the top 5 are Gordon, Burton, Jarrett, Earnhardt, and Mayfield.
Counting down 6 more laps as he goes by Steve Park. Steve running in 24th position, 5 laps down.
Never before has a driver won 4 straight events in NASCAR Winston Cup modern history. But Jeff Gordon is en route to do that today. And again, Ray Evernham looks as calm and as cool as a cucumber, doesn't he?
Yeah, counting those laps down. Saying a prayer.
I wonder if he watches his car when he goes by or just stares off into space. There's their 2nd place car. Jeff Burton now 2 3/4 seconds behind Jeff Gordon, the leader. Jeff Burton, he's not going to win, it doesn't look like, but I know one thing, he'll certainly be glad to see that checkered flag wave in 4 more laps so he can get out of that thing and get a whiff of fresh air.
4 laps to go for Jeff Gordon.
A little over 3 seconds now, so he is gradually pulling away.
Average speed of the race is 138.9 miles an hour.
Coming off the corner, 1 more, 3 laps to go. Completes another lap.
He has done today what he and Ray and the rest of the Rainbow Warriors have done so many times this year, and that is not be ultra competitive until the time that it was necessary.
I talked to Ray this morning. He was concerned about his car. Didn't feel like they were right. They're going to have to make some changes, and as the day wore on, and obviously made the proper changes. come down. We see Evernham talking to him on the radio. 2 to go. I'd like to be a fly on the wall. This is that conversation.
What an incredible career he has in NASCAR Winston Cup competition, and he's so young. This is only his 180th NASCAR Winston Cup start. There is Jeff Burton in second now, 3.3 seconds behind. Gordon comes off corner number 4, takes the white flag. One more lap to go at Darlington, and the Pepsi Southern 500 will go to Jeff Gordon.
4 times in a row he has won this race. That is incredible.
It sure is.
Just think how difficult it is to win it one time.
Exactly. And he's won it 4 in a row. Once he figured out how to do it, he hasn't forgotten, has he?
No, sir.
And of course, he has also captured the No Bull 5 here this afternoon. Here's Jeff Gordon off corner number 4. Looks at the checkered flag, takes the checkered flag, and wins the No Bull 5 million. It's his 10th win of 1998, his 4th consecutive in the Southern 500, and his 39th NASCAR Winston Cup career victory in his 180th start. He wins the No Bull 5 and a $1 million bonus for the 2nd time this year, and he'll be eligible for another one at Talladega. Well, there's lots of big festivities to go. They'll be rolling the Brinks truck out with $1 million for Jeff. When we come back, we'll join in the celebration of Jeff Gordon's victory today at Darlington. What an incredible sight here at Darlington Raceway. Jeff Gordon on his cool-down lap behind the Brinks truck as they they shovel out millions of dollars, because Jeff has won once again the No Bull 5 million. Already $4.1 million coming into this race. He exceeds $5 million in winnings in 1998
alone.
Yes. Bill is with Ray Evernham.
As he takes a victorious walk down pit road with his crew to some cheering fans. 4 straight Southern 500s and another $1 million. Congratulations.
Thanks, Bill. I gotta thank God, because it's been a tough week, and I just kept praying for the strength to not get involved in all that, and I did the best thing. I concentrated on what I had to do, what it would take to win this race.
How tough a week was it, Ray?
It was pretty tough, you know. It's been a lot of mudslinging, I guess, but just, you know, everybody kept telling me, and like I said, I just kept praying for the strength to stay above it and focus real hard on the job. And if we could come here and do this, that maybe everybody realize.
Your car was excellent after your final stop. What did you do to it?
Air. It was just air, Jack. Just air.
Ray trots off toward victory lane as Jeff Gordon's car has approached the victory lane area and now is being wheeled in.
Man, oh man. Sacks and sacks full of money.
More than I could ever imagine.
That is some kind of an accomplishment. 10 wins, 4 in a row here.
Brooke congratulates her husband. He takes off the steering wheel and is about to emerge from the DuPont finishes Chevy.
Okay, come on out.
Here's our McDonald's Winter Circle interview with Jeff Gordon, Jerry Punch.
Oh, here's Ray Evernham going to hoist this guy in the air. They're going to have a Pepsi celebration here. Why not? The kind of effort they put in today and the kind of week they've had to endure. He thought he was going to kiss Brooke, but Ray got there first. Oh, what an effort. He gives his wife Brooke a big hug. And Jeff, you are absolutely remarkable. 4 Southern 500s in a row. 4 Southern 500s in a row. Congratulations.
I'm absolutely beat. I tell you what, hot day out there. Those closing laps, all I could do is just thank God. I don't know why he's blessing me the way he is in this team, but I sure am thankful, and certainly can't do it without a lot of great people. My goodness, Ray Evernham just did an awesome job today, kept me calm. I was tight, I was loose. You know, I finally just got the thing pretty good there at the end. Those guys made some great pit stops. Thought Jeff Burton was just playing with me there. He was so fast, but on the long runs, we were really good, and we were able to get him. And I want to thank Pepsi. This is a Pepsi race. Southern 504 in a row, unbelievable. But tell you what, one thing's for sure. We came here to make a statement, and I think we certainly did that. You know, no two tires, no nothing. We just, you know, out-teamed them today. And I hope that everybody recognizes just how awesome this race team is. And we certainly can't do it without DuPont Automotive Finishes, Quaker State, Goodyear, and this Chevy Monte Carlo is awesome.
Jeff, we asked you this morning what you would do if you won the $1 million. You said, we'll cross that bridge when we win it. Any ideas what you're going to do with it?
You know, we want to give something to charity, I'm sure. Like I said earlier, the guys that deserve it the most are the ones that work on this team, and I certainly want to make sure we do something for them. And I tell you what, Hendrick Motorsports is just awesome. Got to thank all the guys in the engine shop, chassis shop, everywhere. But one thing that we're going to do is we're going to give another $1 million to some fan in Talladega, and I'm excited about that.
Indeed. We told you the day would begin with millions of eyes focused on a few men who were chasing history, and Bob Jenkins, here's one that captured it.
It's been a money story all afternoon, and the money has finally been awarded. And the $1 million bonus goes to Jeff Gordon as he wins the Pepsi Southern 500. ESPN Speed World coverage of the Pepsi Southern 500 from Darlington Raceway in South Carolina, being brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR. Hey, race fans, this Bud's for you. By Ford, maker of vehicles that are built to last. And by Exide NASCAR Select, the official automotive battery of NASCAR. Take a look at the results. The arrows indicate drivers who led a lap. The double arrows for Jeff Burton, who led the most laps. And while you're looking over the results, listen to these statistics. The all-time highest winning percentage victories in NASCAR Winston Cup competition, Tim Flock, 21.2% of the races won. Jeff Gordon's percentage is now 21.7.
Wow. See, Mark Martin today, after his problems, will finish in 40th place.
We check the points now.
And that finish by Mark certainly hurt him in the point standing, dropped from 199 behind.
248 behind is Dale Jarrett. Well, this coming week, on Thursday night at Richmond, the Virginia is for Lovers NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race. Friday, button pole qualifying at 5:30. The Busch race, the Auto Light Platinum 250, is at 7:30 here on ESPN. Then Saturday, RPM tonight at 5:30. NASCAR today at 7 o'clock. And the Exide NASCAR Select Batteries 400 from Richmond is at 7:30 Eastern Time on Saturday night. Don't forget, more auto racing coming up for you. The CART FedEx Championship Series, the Molson Indy. Our congratulations to Jeff Gordon, who has won the Noble 5 here this afternoon for the second time in 1998. My thanks to Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, John Kernan, Bill Weber, and Dr. Jerry Punch. This is Bob Jenkins thanking you for being with us here this afternoon. We'll see you in Richmond. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.